Chair Smith, present, voting remotely from Clinton Township, Macomb County, Michigan.
Thank you. Commissioner Duge.
Commissioner Duge, present, voting remotely from Warren, Michigan.
Commissioner Sauger.
Mark Sauger from Svenheim, Michigan, District 2, Macomb County, voting virtually.
Commissioner Kleinfeld.
Commissioner Kleinfeld, East Point, Macomb County, Michigan, present.
Commissioner Romano.
Commissioner Romano, District 4, Sterling Heights, present and participating remotely in Macomb County, Michigan.
Commissioner Myjack.
Commissioner Myjack here remotely from Sterling Heights, Macomb County, Michigan.
Commissioner Brown.
Commissioner Brown participating remotely from Washington Township, Macomb County, Michigan.
Commissioner Kraft.
Commissioner Kraft attending remotely from Chesterfield Township, Macomb County, Michigan.
Commissioner Leonetti.
Commissioner Leonetti attending remotely from my office in Mount Clemens, Michigan.
Commissioner Haw.
Commissioner Haw attending remotely from Roseville, Macomb County, Michigan.
Commissioner Lucido.
Liz, you're muted.
Sorry, wouldn't let me do it. Commissioner Lucido participating remotely from Clinton Township in Macomb County, Michigan.
All right, Mr. Chair, and that completes the roll.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise and feel free to recite the pledge with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item number 3, invocation by yours truly. Would mind, please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we come to you this hour asking for your blessing and help as we are gathered together. We pray for guidance in the matters at hand and ask that you would clearly show us how to conduct our work with the spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Give us to find ways to excel in our work. Help us to work together and encourage each other to excellence. We ask that we would challenge each other to reach higher and farther and to be the best we can. We ask this in the name of Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Item number 4, adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion
Romano
to adopt
adopts the agenda.
Mr. Romano?
Haw second.
All right, I have motion and support. Please vote.
And that motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Item 5, approval of minutes dated November 19th, 2020.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Seconded by Sauger.
I have a motion by Brown and support by Sauger. Please vote.
That motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Item number 6, public participation. I will remind everybody the first public participation is for items on the agenda. If you are not speaking to any item on the agenda, please wait for the second public participation at the end of the meeting. With that being said, any members of the public wishing to speak in public participation, please unmute by hitting *6 or type into the chat box and one of my staff will tell us that you're there. Any members of the public wishing to speak? Third and final time, any members of the public wishing to speak? We're going to close the first public participation. Item number 7, correspondence from the Office of County Executive. I believe Vicki will be talking today, so we'll count that as our correspondence. Item number...
Pardon me, Chair Smith, we did have Allison, a Macomb resident, who put her name in the chat box just as you were closing public.
Okay, then go ahead if you would like to unmute and speak to an item on today's agenda.
Yes, hi. I just noticed that number 11.
Can you give us your name and at least your city of residence, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Allison, and I live in Macomb Township.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
So I don't know specifically what you were planning to talk about in number 11, Government Oversight Committee recommendations, but I would like to add a recommendation or a couple that during the government oversight meetings that are forthcoming, that you have specific sections on how Macomb County is actually overseeing different parts of your county. And specifically, I would like you to examine Shelby Township. I would like you to examine two things specifically in Shelby Township. One, the decisions of their police department and who is making the final calls on what that police department does. I believe there's been massive overstep, or the way that you currently have things set up.
So Allison, you're going to have to stop for 1 second. So number one, I'm sorry, you have an old agenda. We don't have government that is no longer on the agenda. And number two, again, you might have to, you can probably talk a little bit more about this on the second public participation if you'd like, if that's okay.
When did you put out a new agenda? Because I looked at this.
We didn't have anything on the government oversight committee for this meeting, so it got removed. However, it doesn't mean that you can at the end. Okay? Because we don't we don't do oversight of Shelby Township and how they, I'm sorry, I'm talking to you about public participation. We're really not even supposed to talk, answer anything. So if you don't mind, there's nothing on the agenda for that right now, so please join us at the second public participation. Okay? Thank you. Okay, item number 8, presentation. Update on the COVID-19 emergency, December 2020. Can I get a motion to receive and file, please?
Motion to receive and file, Duhigg.
Thank you.
Support Leonetti.
All right, thank you. Vicki, I know you are with us.
Yes. Good evening, Commissioners.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again for our last report of the year on our COVID-19 emergency. I will quickly give highlights from the past month of our activities. Basically, as of today, we're at day 284. So obviously well into the COVID pandemic, and we're just continue to be just as busy as we were in the beginning. Obviously, with our community action department, a lot of work continues to go on there, a lot more expected in the coming year in dealing with those individuals and trying to provide them different areas of assistance. We continue with a large amount of calls coming in to that office. Our food program continues to allocate food and provide resources to families, senior services, obviously through our Meals on Wheels programs, our congregate care meals. Today, if you saw the notice that came out, we were giving senior care packages out again. So a lot of strong work continues within that area. Within the emergency management office and quite a few offices, probably the biggest highlights have been the change in our testing site location, and then obviously vaccination plans, which both of those I'll talk about a little bit later in my presentation. But highlights there for our equipment and PPE within the community. We have almost 2 million PPE items distributed throughout the county. We continue to push items out. We get individual requests from different entities, whether it's our public safety partners or long-term care centers. So that program continues to be active, and again, we foresee that going on well into 2021. And thus, that's why we built the cash that we have. Our small business support with PPE kits. To date, we've given over 4,000 kits to various businesses in the county. That's been a partnership with emergency management and planning and economic development. We do have the capability to provide more of those kits going into 2021 as well. That's provided for us as part of our cash, so that can continue. And the program under CARES Act that they're specifically handling is the Municipal Relief Fund. And basically, as of this report, 99% of those funds have been spoken for. So we allocated just about $10.3 million to our municipalities, and essentially all that funding will be utilized by the locals for their various COVID expenses. Within your report, you have, as usual, our finance report. Again, a reminder, we have many programs that are covered in this report, not just the CARES Act fund. Current planned revenues to date are just over $174 million that we have coming in. Our expenditures are just under $94 million, and we have just over a little over $5 million that is encumbered. When we take a look at the CARES Act piece, obviously that's the largest piece, the $152 million. We have no concerns about spending the whole $152 million. So I know depending on what your thoughts are, where our expenditures are at, that may seem like a large gap to cover in the next couple weeks. But there are many programs that are continuing and that will come to fruition as of the end of this month. And some of the programs like the municipal relief is all reimbursement based, so we're just waiting for those reimbursement requests to come in from the municipalities. We have programs and reimbursements with Macomb Intermediate School Districts and other local school districts, so that's another funding source. We have a number of IT projects that will be completed by the end of the year. Public safety payroll and other payroll that we're doing within the county still has to come in for the next couple weeks. So I just want to ensure you and everyone that the entire $152 million plus the other funds that we have allocated will be spent. And just to stay on that topic for a little bit, I can't thank everybody enough and all the great work in all the different areas. Obviously, this is a highlight at every meeting, even starting back in April. Many of us had concerns about being able to get that much money in and get it out and really make a impact within the community, and I think we've done that. And there have just been so many people that have participated in that program, whether it was from the finance department, of course, having to not only handle all the finances coming in, but then push all the checks going back out. The planning department and their staff. You have the health department, you have MCA, senior services, emergency management, F&O, just a ton of projects. So again, very proud to work for this organization and all the other people as well. I'd like to thank the board too for your cooperation in trusting us and getting that money out and being very gracious in your approvals and helping us move all this forward. But it'll be a great success, and hopefully at the January report we'll be able to report all the expenses and some of that money in a little more detail within these programs. I know there's a number of items on the agenda that have to do with the finances that have either already been through a subcommittee or done through bypass. I know there's a couple new items that we added on today. Again, thank you for getting those on at late notice. If you'd like, I can just wait to talk to those as they come up in the agenda. At least for one, or at least I can talk about it now, I guess, is the interior environments one for the JIC Media Center. That is for a large portion of the furniture within the JIC. We have a small portion that we're still planning and selecting, but we did want to get this to you and get the order in before the end of the year. And Interior Environments is the county's preferred vendor. We have a contract with them already for furniture. They offer us GSA pricing. So that essentially was not bid out because we already had the pricing from them for that item. Jumping to the health department, when you look at our stats currently in December, we have just under 62,000 tests that have been taken in the county, basically 9,900 positive tests, and we're at 16% positivity rate, which is lower than it had been, lower for the month of November. If we keep on track with this, we will see a downward trend and some moderation in our testing numbers. I'm sure you've seen that through the news and within the state. So we are also following that trend in the county. Obviously still high, but not as high as it was. So that's very positive, and we're obviously very pleased with that downward. We continue to do the testing in the county. We have partnerships with various organizations. We have testing sites through partner organizations in the city of Warren, as well as in Sterling Heights. There are neighborhood testing sites that have been set up by the state, both in the city of Roseville and most recently another one in the city of Warren. So we continue to make that a priority within our program, and we'll do that into the foreseeable future. Based on the number of case investigations that the health department has, they did just over 17,000 within the last month's period, and they've also done another 42,000 close contacts. Again, that is just within the last month. So a lot of work goes within that program. In order to do that, we've done some additional hiring within that area of the health department to be able to try and stay up with the case investigations. I know in a meeting earlier in the week, Bill Rodella indicated to us that they are in a much better place with our contact tracing. We were at a point where we were behind, which is totally understandable, but we're starting to get over that and start to keep up with those case investigations again, which is, of course, is very important to notify people that they may have been exposed and then try to limit their exposure to others. Our drive-through testing site, as you know, I spoke about this last week, and obviously it was in the news. We tested over 8,700 individuals in the past month. We moved over to the Baker site successfully over the past weekend. We opened up there on Monday, and operations are going extremely well. No real large issues have come up. The employees like it. The people coming through the testing site like it. It's obviously warmer. They're protected from the elements. So we were really excited to be able to do that. And we did that in a very short amount of time. Again, a lot of departments pitched in for that, in addition to the health department. Roads department was instrumental in getting us over there. F&O, city or Clinton Township officials and their building department and their fire and police. We're working with them for our plans out there. So a lot of great work with our partner agencies to get that up and running for us. And then last but not least, of course, is the vaccine planning that we've done, and that will continue over the next several months. We did receive our first shipment today, 1,950 doses came into the health department, so we're very glad for that, very relieved, very hopeful that there may be an end in sight. Still a lot of work because of the quantity of vaccine that's coming in, so it's still a large planning effort on who gets the vaccines. There's obviously recommendations from the federal and state entities that we are following. And our first priority group that at least we are handling through the health department is the EMS agencies, and we should start to see our vaccines go out to those departments over the next few days. With them, the scheduling's a little tricky, or with many departments like this, or even companies as they move forward, just because of some of the adverse side effects that can happen. You don't necessarily want to have all your staff vaccinated on the same day. So you have to stagger your personnel coming in, and what we've been doing is working with the EMS agencies to figure out what is the best schedule for them. So that is a process that won't be done in a few days. It may take, of course, over a week or two, and that just has to do as to how they've requested that their personnel are brought into the site. But we have a lot of confidence. Obviously, health department has run vaccination clinics before, so once we open it up and start running those people through there, we don't anticipate any real issues on the process. So we'll continue to move forward with that. And as we move through other priority groups, get other vaccine deliveries, we'll keep moving forward and looking to the day when we can get to the general public, hopefully in the spring. Moving on, human relations and human resources and labor relations. They are very instrumental in the new people that we've hired within the health department. We also brought in some incident commanders to help with health department sites that we have set up. They were also instrumental in the NTAC staffing lease that we've done. We talked before of needing to hire almost 300 people outside of county personnel to work at the vaccination site, and HR did a great job putting that together with NTAC and getting that through. So we're very appreciative of their efforts for that. IT department continues to be busy. Again, we're at crunch time for many of these departments. In the past month, they worked on our new employee exposure form for us. So we're very pleased with that. That is how the employees report to us as an employer, how they may have been exposed. We released that form basically just a week ago, and it is going extremely well. We've had people, makes it a lot easier for them to fill out the form, access the form, and then for all of us on the receiving end to process that information. So that project is going well. Within there, probably one of the bigger projects they've rolled out that many commissioners probably had to partake in as well was our Duo, our two-step authentication system that has been rolled out and getting close to 900 people registered for that. That's one of our security enhancements within the county that allows people also who are working remotely to be able to safely access our county system. So that's a major project that has been going on. And in total, they have 62 CARES Act projects to date. 19 of those are completed and 43 are actively being worked on. And again, no doubt that they will finish up by the end of the year. Our Joint Information Center continues to be busy. Obviously, we have the JIC and Media Center project that is going on. Maria Zardes from Planning is actually leading that project and our program manager for us, and she's doing a great job with that. We hope that project will be completed by the end of February, as long as it keeps going as well as it has been. We had 62 inquiries from the media. Sorry about that. That's my dog. I'm going to walk and let her out if you don't mind. They also obviously were integral in the media event out at Baker College and getting all the press out there and all the coverage to let people know that the site was moving and trying to have no hiccups with moving the site. We also had some media out on Monday at the Verkulen building for the vaccination site. Sorry about that. Gotta love working remote, right? Planning and economic development. Again, here's a big part. Our business grants, $42 million out the door with all of the projects that they ran. All of those projects are complete. Everything is finished. All the reimbursement checks have gone out. So again, a huge shout out to them and finance department. And I know Lynn Lapierre, especially from finance in working on getting those checks out. But a lot of great success stories that they have, many of them that I believe you have heard. We had a wrap-up meeting just this last week with their recovery task force. A lot of excitement in the group. The group wants to continue meeting, which I think is a great credit to all of them and their dedication for the different areas that they cover. Even though there's no guaranteed funding coming in, they see all the great work that's gone on by creating this task force, having it in place, and how much the businesses really appreciate it. There are a few programs that they have said that they would love to continue because they were so successful and that businesses keep reaching out to them for. So maybe we'll see some of those continue into next year and beyond. But again, great job. And one of the wonderful things they did too was partway through was rather than mailing checks, they decided to hand out checks in person. So they gave out over 600 checks by providing a drive-up service, if you will, and that was very much appreciated by the businesses. I'm going to jump down now to just our healthcare and hospital planning. Continue to meet with the hospitals, most notably on their vaccination planning and the coordination with us and other entities that are receiving the vaccine for their various areas. We've also seen a decrease in the hospitalizations due to COVID and the number of people being treated there. So that's another good sign that we're seeing within that community. So again, hopefully that will continue. And then just looking at our current and long-term initiatives, continue to talk about funding. Hopefully we'll find out soon if there's another stimulus package coming through, whether it's through the federal government or through the state. We did submit some project areas to the state if any of the funding that the governor has talked about comes to fruition. So we did provide, I believe, at least 7 different project areas, majority of which I've talked about tonight already, that we know that we need to continue and would be very appreciative if they had funding for us to continue those. Testing, vaccination will be the majority of work as we continue into 2021. And again, with that vaccination planning, it is the tiered approach, and probably our biggest arena coming up will be our public information piece for that. As you can imagine, and as I'm sure some of you have already gotten, people wanting to know when do they get their vaccine, and where are they at, and where can they get it. So we're answering a lot of questions on that, and we'll be making a big push to get that information out to people so they know when that is going to happen. And then obviously our hospital and healthcare system monitoring, our business and unemployment, and the vulnerable populations will continue to be areas of concern for us that we'll have to keep monitoring and keep working with those agencies to try and provide resources and support to. And last but not least, if I can insert it in this part of the agenda, is I would just like to wish the commissioners that are not coming back next year. I wish you the best of luck. I'd like to thank you for working with you over the last several years for many of you. Marv, I think you've been around almost my entire time in the county, but it's really been a pleasure, and I thank you for the opportunity to be here. And Marv, I already miss your hugs and kisses this year, so I'm going to continue to miss those. And with that, I am done.
Thank you, Vicki. I have Commissioner Duche up to speak. Commissioner Duche?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I didn't hit the star. Vicki, thank you very, very much for your report. Well done, as always. Couple of questions. What is the possibility of another stimulus for some of the businesses? I've been asked that now that they're closed again, they're wondering if anything else is going to be coming down the pike. Do you have, and you mentioned it, is there anything else? Is this going to happen in the next month, 2 months? What is your feeling on that?
I would, most of my information is most of what everybody else hears. I'm hopeful that they will do that both at a federal and a state level. I think in many of the stimulus packages, what you're hearing is money in particular for individuals and for businesses. So I think that funding, I do think and hope that funding will come through and that there will be more money for the businesses because of the shutdown.
All right. Well, with any kind of luck, that'll happen. Last but not least, a question. Have you or anybody from the county approached Selfridge as far as the base and getting logistic help from them?
We've had various conversations with them over the months with COVID. There are certain missions that they are tasked with as part of this program, or that reserves are tasked with through the state. They are part of some of our plans as part of all of the vaccination type planning that we've done, and for pandemics and other medical type emergencies. But we haven't come to a point yet where we have had a need to enact those plans yet. So we do talk to them, but at this point in time haven't had a need to engage their services.
All right, very good. Vicki, thank you for all your hard work and the kind words. Good luck in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I had Commissioner Brown next.
Thank you. Good evening, Vicki. Thank you for a detailed report again. Outstanding job of organization and management. The reimbursements, early on in the crisis, many businesses donated things that were critical to help stand up a response. I'm thinking of ventilators in particular. I was asked a question recently that now that the systems are in place, not they were being reimbursed for purchases of PPE equipment and so forth. Is there how do they approach maybe getting reimbursed for some of the things they donated initially to the hospitals and things in the fight early on in the fight? Is there any, have you had that type of request before?
Yeah, there's no process that I'm aware of, and I believe at least in looking at the CARES Act, I believe that the CARES Act specifically does not allow for the ability to reimburse entities that have donated goods and services from the beginning. So I believe that's a violation of the CARES Act. It's a violation of many federal grants and programs, how they work. In regards to utilizing other funding for that, we really haven't looked at that or had a lot of requests.
Well, you need a certain process to go through and do that. I wasn't sure if there was anything like that at all. The second question is kind of going along with Commissioner Duzay's questions of the Open for Business grants that went out. Many businesses are closed, and that they've been closed and opened and then closed again. Is there any was any of that money available for them, for people to reimburse them for the closures because of the response to the epidemic that entitled them to any grant monies? There was grant dollars going to prepare your businesses, shields and masks and protective things. But what about with the businesses that lost, that lost income or even money to pay their employees that had laid off? Has there been a program, a grant program that they could have applied for? Or
I believe through our last rounds of our sustainability grants, that was a program that we were able to continue because in the first round, not all of the funding was utilized. But that was a program where they could come back for more expenses, if you will, whether they were shut down or not, the whole open, closed. So I know we did run that program where those types of expenses could be accounted for, and not just for when we were shut down early in the process. And we did allow, again, I believe it was through that grant program where we gave priority to new businesses who had not received grant funding for that program. But then other businesses, even if they had received money from us prior, could come back again and still be awarded funds. Obviously, they'd be claiming it for a different period of time, and that was totally eligible, and we had a number of those businesses do that.
how many businesses applied, but there wasn't enough money to go around? Because I imagine there are probably many more businesses applied than were able to meet the demand. or did we have enough money to meet to that? I'm not sure.
There were, I'll say, I believe in most instances, and where you look at many of the applications and then who were actually eligible applicants, that we were able to meet the demand. There were a couple grant programs. I can tell you one of them was the Online Business Connect program, where we had more applicants than we had funds for. So I know that that's a program that could continue. But I think some of it too that was noted in the wrap-up meeting and just in other conversations, again, just goes back to that word of mouth and trying to make sure that you're getting enough coverage, you're engaging with businesses to make sure that they know the program is open and that it's even available. I think, with all the programs, obviously there was a cutoff time for applications, and I think there are always businesses that at least said, oh, I didn't know about this program, or, I just found out about it this past week. Is it still open? And the answer was no. But that whole sustainability grant, or if we did have funding left over, that's why we were doing carryover programs and trying to run those out basically up until, earlier this month.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Hawk.
Thank you, Chairman. I was, Vicki, going to originally ask how the startup at Baker College went, but you covered that, so thank you for that. But it gives me the opportunity to offer my heartfelt gratitude and appreciation for all the coordination and the work that you and your staff have done during this pandemic that has not been seen in almost the history of the world. I talked to a lot of the businesses. As you know, I've had numerous phone calls with you on a multitude of issues, and the way you guys are handling it, I think you ought to give 4 stars, if not more, to yourself and everybody on your team. So thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Harold. Let me just double check and see. Vicki, I don't have any other speakers on this, but I would hope, and I'm just going to push Commissioner Duge and Commissioner Hawes or Brown's point, that I hope that if we have any opportunity, I know a lot of businesses have been hurt by this, but the restaurant business in particular has been, singled out almost to me ridiculously unfairly. And I'd hope that if we have any chance to give any money out to the businesses out there, that they would be first on the list.
That's your name down there.
Anyway, I don't have any other speakers. We have a motion and support to receive and file. So can we please vote?
Bob?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marv. Marv, you muted yourself. I heard you a minute ago. Unmute yourself, Marv. I see you talking.
Marvin, get your granddaughter to unmute you.
You had it for a second, Marv. You had it for a second. Sorry.
Working now?
Yes, there you go.
Vicki, thanks for what you've done on that staff. You've been a class act. And I often talk with Andre Duche. We say, when you're a speaker, you cover it thoroughly. So thanks for all your help and God bless you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Thanks, Marv. Mike already prompted the vote. So, Mike, did you want to prompt it again, or you want to tell us how it went?
Yep, that motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Item number, so I have to get back to this, 9, department recommendations. So these are all items that need to be voted on individually. Department recommendation 9A, can I get a motion for the animal control purchase? Maybe we can do 9A and B. I'm guessing they're together.
I'll make a motion to approve 9A and B. Kraft.
Support.
I have motion and support. Steve, are you here to talk to this? I see you waving.
I am. Can you hear me okay?
We can. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. What you have before you are 2 related items, as Chair Smith indicated. The first one, I believe, on the agenda is a budget amendment that is being requested for the purpose of providing funding for the purchase of 2 replacement vehicles in the Animal Control Department that were damaged in 2 different collisions, as I understand. And the idea behind this amendment is to bring in funding from the liability insurance fund and then make the purchase of the vehicles from the general fund. So it will increase revenue and increase expense correspondingly, being budget neutral. And then the other item is the approval of the purchase. And I believe Larry Lee, the purchasing manager, is also on the call to discuss the purchase if commissioners have any questions. And that's all my comments.
Okay. Steve, I don't have any commissioners with any comments unless Marv's going to jump in. So we have a motion and support. Commissioners, please vote.
That motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Item 9C. Can I get a motion for 9C, please?
I'll make that motion for 9C.
Lucido, motion.
Romano supports.
All right, I have motion and support. Vicki, you spoke to this a little bit already. I will just see if any of the commissioners have any further questions on it. Commissioner Kleinfeld.
Thank you, Chair. As you know, we were having technical difficulties and didn't have very enough commissioners on at the last meeting that I voted yes on the thing related to the media center. We aren't having those technical difficulties tonight, and all those commissioners are present, so I'll be voting no. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other commissioners wishing to speak? I don't have anybody on the list. All right, we have a motion and support. Please vote.
That motion passes 10-1 with Commissioner Kleinfeld voting no.
Thank you. Item 9D, please. Ratification of contract, Motor City Electric Technology, surveillance for the medical examiner renovations. Who do I have a support from?
Motion to move, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I have a motion and support. Steve?
Yes. Hello again. And this item and the following 2 are basically related items. They all relate to purchases or contracts that were executed relative to the medical examiner's office renovation project. They were executed at the end of October, and the idea at the time was they were considered emergency purchases because at the time the funding source for that project was identified as the CARES Fund. And as you know, we came to you in November with a proposal that you approved to change the funding to the general fund based on timing concerns. So that's what happened here was these contracts were awarded basically based on concerns that we wouldn't get the products in goods before the end of the year, before the CARES funding expired. And as you'll notice, these 3 vendors are vendors that we have previously awarded contracts to for various other IT projects and furniture purchases with CARES money, actually. So we're just bringing these to the board for ratification.
Okay. I don't have any commissioners wishing to speak. So please vote, commissioners.
Do we do? Do we move on?
That motion passes 11-0, and Commissioner Kleinfeld, your mic is unmuted.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
All right. Item, well, we're going to go with 9E. I'm sorry. Where are we at? 9D and E, maybe? Or E and F, I'm sorry. If we would like to, since Steve just talked about those 2 also, I get a motion for that.
Motion to approve both.
Thank you.
Support by Sauger.
All right, I have a motion and support. Steve, you you want to tell us a little bit about them both, Steve? Would you just please? It doesn't look like there's going to be any questions, but just kind of run everybody through E and F.
There I am unmuted. So E, I believe, is relative to, I believe it's the network cabling, the low voltage cabling over at the medical examiner's office. I also believe that Jaco is on the call. He can talk more definitively about the nature of the project and what was purchased. And then the item F is the actual furniture that was purchased for the facility. And again, I believe Larry Lee should be on the call to talk about the individual items.
So just a quick question. I know you said something about this. This originally was scheduled for CARES Act money, but and that's why it got going already. And then we didn't think we would be able to get the projects done or the everything in time to actually qualify for CARES Act. So we're changing it to county capital fund money. Is that something?
That's correct. Yes, and that proposal was approved in November.
Okay, and were we able to use that CARES money for other things since we didn't use this, $170,000 or $80,000? Were we able to find something else that we could use that money for?
What we ended up doing was funding public safety payroll.
There you go.
To basically free up the money to fund those projects with general fund money. If you remember that whole process.
Thanks, Steve. Yes, I do. That being said, then, let me see if there's any commissioners. There are no commissioners with questions, so commissioners, please vote.
That motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Need a motion for 9G.
Moved by Leonetti.
Thank you.
Support Romano.
All right. Who is on to talk about this collective bargaining agreement? Anybody?
Commissioner Smith, that's Andy McKinnon here.
Oh, there you go. Hello, Andy.
How you doing?
Fine, thanks. So what do we have?
So as you're all aware, around a year ago, we had brought to this Board of Commissioners all of the collective bargaining agreements for all of the groups in the county except for one, TPOAM Circuit Court. The TPOAM Circuit Court negotiations became protracted. Did go through a fact finding. After our fact finding, we came back to the table and we were able to reach a settlement with that group. We're very happy about that. Of course, their representatives vigorously held the line for their members, and this collective bargaining agreement does fall in line with all of the others that you approved about a year ago prior to the 2020 calendar year. It does comply with all of the state legislation. As you will see in the documentation, this contract does run from 2020 until 2022, but there is no retroactivity for 2020 as that is not allowed under the state law. So with that, I will turn it back over to the Commission for any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Commissioner Hall.
Thank you, Chair. Andrew, does this contract include the investigators in the prosecutor's office as well?
Yes, it does, Commissioner Ha.
Thank you. That's all I have, Chair.
Thank you. I don't have any other members wishing to speak, so please vote.
That motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Item number 10, appointments. Oh, thank you, Andy. So item number 10, appointments. I will take 10A, 10A, B, and C. Any way anyone would like to do this. I think we have to do it individually. Why don't we just do them 10A? Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve 10A.
Thank you.
Support by Sauter.
I have a motion and support for the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority to appoint 3 vacancies to 3-year terms. Dana Camphouse Peterson, David Skirto, and Miss Rasha Weir. And I'm sure I butchered the last 2 names, but let me ask if anyone wishes to speak on any of these. And I don't see any speakers, so commissioners, please vote.
That motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for 10B, Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, Executive Appointment Board Concurrence, 1-year vacancy, 3-year term?
Chairman, I'll make the motion to approve Bonnie McInerney Slater for that position.
Thank you. Support?
Support Romano.
Support. All right, I have a motion and support. Commissioners, I just got to check, but please vote.
That motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Item 10C, need a motion to appoint Ron Trombley, Butch Hassig, George Penna, Vince Viviano, Derek Wilczynski, Pastor Rodney Tolbert, and Treasurer Larry Rocker to the Building Authority Commission.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Support Hall.
I have motion and support. Commissioners, please vote.
That motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Item number 11, Internal Services Committee recommendation. Anyone would like to make a motion in the whole?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I'll support
them all.
I'll support that.
Commissioner Brown and Commissioner Kraft on 11A through D. Any commissioners wishing to speak? I don't see any. Please vote.
That motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Item number 12, Records and Public Safety Committee recommendations. I have A and B. Someone like to make that motion?
Motion by Romano, A and B.
I have Elizabeth and then Commissioner Romano support. So commissioners, please vote.
Chair?
Yes, I'm sorry. Would you like to speak to these?
You know, I'm hitting the button, but things are slow over here. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Just
unmute and tell me whenever you need.
Real quick, Steve. When this went through committee, I brought up this purchase was already made, but I think, did you catch it in finance? I was just curious if that's where the mistake was caught. I don't have a problem with the fact that it happened because I was really happy that somebody caught it and brought it to us. And I was just wondering if that was through your department or the sheriff's department. Do you know?
It was through the purchasing department, so purchasing/finance.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioners, let's see. I don't have anybody else on the list to speak, so we have a motion and support. Please vote.
That motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Item 13A, Finance Audit Budget Committee recommendation. Can I get a motion for 13A?
Moved by Kleinfeld.
Motion by Kleinfeld, support by Hall. Thank you. Double check, make sure anyone else's computer is working. Mine is too. Please vote, commissioners.
That motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Item 14. If anyone would like to motion for 14A through I, that would be fine. If anyone would like to individually separate anything, please let me know.
Motion to approve item 14A through I.
Thank you.
Support, Leonetti.
Support. All right, I have Hall, I have Duge and Leonetti. And since there's a lot of these, let's look and see if anyone wants to speak. I don't have any speakers on the list, so please vote.
Chair, just out of curiosity, I only have an H. I don't have an I. So
Uh-oh.
I'll take a picture and send it to Mike.
On 14, 17 only goes to H, but just we had to refresh before the meeting, Commissioner Kleinfeld. That might have changed everybody's. Your might not have done
Nope,
it.
I
I don't
went
know.
too far down. My bad. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Mike?
That motion passes for 14A through I, 11-0.
Thank you. Item 15, Public Services Committee recommendations. I have A, B, and C. Would like to make that motion. No one wants to.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Leonetti.
I have
Support by Brown.
Tito, support by Leonetti. All right, commissioners, please vote.
That motion passes 11-0.
Item 16, Resolution 2020-5686. I need a motion for that.
So moved, Mr. Chair. Kraft.
Support.
I'll support.
Thank you.
Lucido.
All right. I have a motion and support. I don't show any speakers. Please vote.
That motion passes 9-2 with Commissioners Kleinfeld and Duge voting no.
Thank you. Item 17, proclamations. I'm thinking we should take these individually tonight. So can I get a motion for 17A, proclamation commending Judge LeDuc?
Mr. Chairman, I'll support proclamation A for Dennis LeDuc, Judge
Thank
Dennis
you.
LeDuc.
Any support?
Leonetti supports.
Thank you. So, I'm not sure. Mike, can you tell me if Judge LeDuc is on, or any of his representatives?
Chair Smith, I can't see anyone with Judge LeDuc's name referenced there. I don't know if anyone from his family would be on the phone.
That's fine. Well, if anyone from Judge LeDuc's family or office is on the line, you can unmute by hitting *6. But we're going to just go on. Judge LeDuc was a judge and magistrate at some point at the 42nd District Court. Started his legal career in 1973. He practiced law for 30 years before being elected to the 46th District Court in November of 2002. We all, I'm pretty sure, know Judge LeDuc, and he's one heck of a guy. A great guy to talk to. We're going to be sad to see him leave. But Judge has been married for 51 years to his wife Sharon, so it's going to give him more time to spend with her. So any Commissioner Brown or anybody would like to speak a little bit on behalf of Judge LeDuc, I will. Don Brown, there you go. Commissioner Brown.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Judge LeDuc's been a fixture on the north end of the county, looking after the affairs of the court, the new courthouse when I took office a long time ago. He's tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock, they're having a drive-through blown away party ceremony for him at the courthouse tomorrow. And I'll be presenting that resolution on behalf of the entire board to the judge. As you said earlier, he's well respected. Everyone in the county knows him. He's very good with the budget. He was always very conscious with his budget up there in the court, making sure that the board understood what their expenses were and the needs of the court, as well as the reimbursement rates that came back to the county to offset expenses. He's just a good man, and he's going to definitely enjoy retirement with his family, and he will be missed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Leonetti.
Yeah, I will concur with a lot of what Commissioner Brown said. As an attorney in private practice, I had many opportunities to appear before Judge LeDuc, and he was excellent. He always was very fair, very compassionate, and appropriate when he did justice. He also was in private practice for some time too, and I had a couple cases with him on the other end of it, and I thought he was excellent in regard to his attorney skills. And once he took the bench, he was just as good. So be very sorely missed. And Don, you make sure I tell him I said hi tomorrow at that event. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner
I'll be sure to do
Saunders,
that, Commissioner Leonetti.
Yeah, thanks, Chairman. Dennis, I knew him very well as an attorney in Mount Clemens. And then when he went up to Romeo area, became a magistrate, and then became a judge. And then people just adored him. And he was a class act judge, and we'll all miss him. And I know he was sick for a while. And I hope the best of luck to him. God bless him. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I do not have any other speakers. We had a motion and support for this, so please vote.
That motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Item 17B, proclamation commending Mr. Bill Riddell on his retirement. Can I get a motion for that?
Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve this.
Thank you. Have support?
Support Leonetti.
Thank you. All right. I'm not sure if Bill's with us. I know he was with us at the last meeting and everybody got to say some goodbyes to him. Bill, if you are here, you can unmute and jump in at any time. But if you're not, I'll just give.
I believe he is, Mr. Chairman. He was earlier.
Well,
I'm on, Chairman.
All right, Bill.
What can I say? You've been in this position for 12 years. You've set the standard, as far as I'm concerned, for people going forward and controlling the tiller for the health department. We had many discussions and worked together over a variety of things in the past, and nobody ever imagined the pandemic that's hit us. But because of your calm demeanor and the team that between Vicki and you and a whole lot of other people working your tails off, you showed the caliber of employee that we have in Macomb County, and you've done not only the board but every single resident of Macomb County proud. I'm very, very happy to see you walking out of your office as opposed to being carried out of your office. I want to personally thank you for everything over the years. You've been exceptional, and I can't say enough about you. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. And Bill, you are up. I know we had a lot of commissioners at the last meeting talk to you, so I'm going to give the floor one last time to you. Next time you come visit us, you'll have to join us in public participation.
Okay. Okay. Again, thanks. I greatly appreciate, how the Board of Commissioners, the County Executive Office, community partners, stakeholders, and the residents really respected me and also had the confidence in me when I first came. I came back because I was here in 1979 and worked about a year and a half, went to Detroit for 32 years. And when I came back in 2012, I was honored to be serving as the public health director. And it meant a lot to me because this is the county that I grew up in. And it was an honor to serve. And, I had big shoes to fill, whether it was Steve Golds or Tom Kalkofen, Dan Lafferty, some of you might remember from the past. These were mentors that I had in public health. And, it was truly not just learning from them, but also the staff here. We have an excellent and dedicated public health staff, as you know. And I was blessed to have 42 years of service, not only in Macomb County, but also at the City of Detroit Health Department. So again, I really appreciate all the support I got from the board. And, Macomb County invests in public health, and I would ask those that are going to continue to serve to continue to invest in public health. I think we've learned a lot about public health over this unprecedented year in 2012. And again, I want to thank you for the proclamation, the kind words, and I wish you the best always in excellent health and happiness. And again, thank you very much for the proclamation. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you again, Bill, and we're going to miss you. So we have a motion and support. Please vote.
That motion passes 11-0.
All right, so, geez, I jumped off the screen here. Sorry about that. We have item proclamation 17C, proclamation commending Andre Duge for serving as Macomb County Commissioner. Can I get a motion for that?
Motion by Leonetti.
Motion by Romano.
I have a motion by Leonetti and support by Romano. So, Commissioner Duge, I'm not going to read, I'm sure there'll be a few people that want to talk. I'm not going to read the proclamation. They get kind of boring, but I'm going to read a few things that I do have about you. First, let me just start real quick with, it's been an honor to serve with all of the outgoing commissioners. So this goes for everybody that's getting the proclamation tonight, and all the commissioners staying, but tonight's, the night for the commissioners that are leaving. Over the last 4 years, I've seen the commission grow stronger and more united, and it's because of the commitment each one of you guys have had for public service, guys and females. Sorry, Elizabeth. Each one of you has played a vital role for this board. You've all made my time as commissioner and chair more enjoyable, and you provided tremendous support. So I just want to take a moment to say thank you to all of you. Commissioner Duge, you served on the board for 12 years. You've been a true advocate for the residents of Warren, that is for sure, where you've been a resident for over 50 years. You've been a champion for quality and accessible senior mental health, overall health services in the county. And this devotion guided you when you served as chair of Health and Human Services Committee. You were on the Building Committee, Roads and Public Works Committee chair, and as vice chair of the Planning and Economic Development Committee. Commissioner Duge, you're heavily involved in the local Ukrainian community and regularly promote cultural awareness throughout the county. I will say that your humor and has always made all of us laugh. In your new language, that I've learned a new language listening to you. I have all my Duge-isms that I constantly repeat, and no one ever knows where they come from. But I'm gonna miss you, and I know you're gonna do great things in the future. I'm gonna ask for Commissioner Kleinfeld.
Thank you, Chair. And due to the number of commissioners that are leaving, I put it all together in one statement, so I won't be speaking on each and every one of them, if that's okay. Christmas is in the air, but things aren't quite right. For we say goodbye to good friends tonight. There is Commissioner Lucido and Commissioner Leonetti. No, tonight there will be no confetti. And farewell to Chair Smith and Commissioner Myjack. He leaves once in a while and always comes back. We will never forget Commissioner Duge or Commissioner Sager. He is truly a patriarch and one old codger. Gillette and Carabelli are no longer here. No, things won't be quite the same next year. We have debated and argued and shared lots of laughter, but I think of you fondly as we close this chapter. The most important thing that I want to say to you is thank you for the friendships that I will truly value. Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you, Commissioner Clapwell. Commissioner Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My notes look like garbage compared to what Commissioner Kleinfeld just put out there. Andre, I just want to say real quick, it's been a pleasure sitting a few seats down from you when we are actually in person. And as a somewhat IT person myself, I appreciated your impact adjustments and helping Leon with his iPad. And I'm going to miss you, and good luck, and enjoy your time with your family. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get Commissioner Romano on the who, what, where, and when of things?
I'd like to say something too.
I got you.
Question, please. I'm going to miss that. Question, please.
Yes, question.
Listen, we have a poet and don't know it. But that was very nice, Veronica. And I think I'll do the same. I think I'll sum it up for all the commissioners that are going to be leaving. And I mean this sincerely. I've been in the public arena, I'm looking at now 25 years. And I can honestly say without any reservation, I've truly, truly enjoyed the last 4 years. All you guys and women were great and are great, the ones that are staying, the ones that are leaving. It's been my honor and my privilege to serve with you, and I'm going to miss you all. And I wish you a healthy and a happy and a very prosperous new year. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Leonetti. And so on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Andre, it's a real pleasure to meet you and serve with you. And I really enjoyed sitting across from you during the Karen Springer years. I would watch your face all the time whenever Karen was at the mic. It was priceless. I almost wanted to take my camera out and take shots. But no, it was a real pleasure working with you. I hope you'll come out this summer on your boat and come to Club Island again. You know you're always welcome to come there. And I'll look forward to seeing you out there this summer. Take care. Bless you. Have a great Christmas. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Hawk. I have you up 3 times, Commissioner Hawk. You only get
it keeps going request to speak to withdraw. So I too am very glad I'm not following Veronica, Phil. So we're both in the same seat. I'd just like to tell a little story. After being in politics, and I'd like to make it applicable to all of our colleagues that are leaving this evening, for better than 30 years, serving as a council member and a mayor and a state representative. My very first commission meeting, I come walking in, and I've known many of the commissioners going back to the late 80s with Veronica and Don Brown and Liz, and certainly with Marv. I used to play softball for the Sheriffs going way back when. But I come walking in, and Joe Romano comes up to me and goes, "Oh, so you're the newbie?" And I said, "Newbie at what?" And he said, "Newbie at being a commissioner." So my tenure started with being a newbie all over again. I'm going to miss the conversations when we were attending, and Andre and Leon and Veronica used to go, I won't say argue, but they would disagree with each other pretty frequently, and Veronica would lean next to Phil and give him an elbow in the ribs and say, "You and Harold need to hear this." And that just continued throughout the entire tenure. But to Andre, Marv, Rob, Liz, I'm going to miss our conversations in the garage that we used to have about a lot of different things that we had in common. And Chair Smith, it's been an honor and a privilege, and I've served on many government bodies. This body has had the best interests of the residents of Macomb County at heart from day one. I just can't say the friendships that I've made, the phone calls with Andre after the meetings or prior to the meetings with Marvin. It's not a friendship that ends. In my case, it's a friendship that'll last forever. God bless all of you. Have a safe and happy new year, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. That's all I have, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Hawk. Commissioner Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think this is the first time we've ever lost so many commissioners in one term. I think it's a record. And people outside the county of Macomb, and maybe some people outside of even our board chambers, don't understand what goes on here. I mean, yes, we're all elected partisanly, but when we get in these chambers, we all work together as a team for the good of the county, and we all bring our own strengths to it. And it's a sad time. We're losing. We're never too far away. We're always a phone call away. We can always call each other, and unfortunately, these last few months, we haven't been able to see each other and be able to rib each other and joke like we regularly do before meetings. But it's going to be sad missing all of you because you've all been friends. We've all grown to be friends, and so we didn't agree on every issue. We agreed on most of them, and in the end, the county's better for it. And you all are going to carry on doing good things in your community, regardless of whether you serve on our board or not. And going to look forward to continuing the relationships and bring you back into service, because just because you leave the board doesn't mean you can't come back. So we'll look forward to working with all of you again in the future. And Godspeed to all of you. And you've been friends, and you'll continue to be that way for the rest of my life. And I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner Brown. Commissioner Sauger.
Well, what can we say? I'm thrilled to death. I did 25 years on this board, 26 for the Sheriff's Department. That's 50 years of service. I'm very proud of my record. I'm proud of the people I worked with on this board. I'm really proud of the staff that you have up there. Bob, you got to be patted on the back, keeping all them gals. They helped make my job and the rest of the commissioners' jobs easy. I want to thank you for that. And remember the old story that during the Second World War, not many will remember that, but General MacArthur always said, old soldiers never die, they just fade away. I just want to change that and say, old politicians never die, they just fade away. So thanks a lot for your help. I enjoyed it. I'll never forget it, and God bless all of you guys.
Thank you. And all the gals, including Mike, are very appreciative of that comment. Oh, sorry, I had to make fun of you, Mike. Commissioner Duge, you have the final say on your proclamation.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the warm words. I'm actually shocked that Commissioner Kleinfeld came up with a poem. It didn't rhyme, but it was a good poem. And after everything's said and done, this was a tremendous group of people that came together and without partisanship and without personal animosities or anything, worked together for the good of not only the board and Macomb County and the various cities and townships, but almost the entire state. I'm very, very happy and proud to have served. I'm very, very honored and humbled that people in District 1 elected me as many times as they did. I tried doing the best I could with what we had, and I want to thank each and every one of you for all the hard work and the time and the sweat equity that you have into this job. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. So we have a motion for Commissioner Duge's proclamation. Please vote.
That motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. I'm going to go through everybody's individually. I know some of you commissioners talked about everybody, so we probably won't have as many speakers, but I think this is an important time, and everybody's going to get their proclamation separately. So Marv, can I have 17D, proclamation commending Marv Sauger for serving as commissioner?
Moved by Kleinfeld.
Support Hall.
Thank you. I have motion and support. So Marv. Who doesn't love Marv? Commissioner Sauger, you've been a member of this board for 25 years and a representative of the county for even longer. Prior to being a board commissioner, you were deputy at the Macomb County Sheriff's Department. I know you knew my dad very well, Marv, so that always gave us a special bond. I always loved our conversations about the old days, and loved how you always supported the Sheriff Department and where you came from. So Marv's worked diligently for Centerline and part of Warren. In addition to being a dedicated public servant, he's been married for forever. He's a proud father of 2, grandfather of 5, and great-grandfather of 4. So those that have all served with Marv, which is all of us, knows that he likes to treat us all like family, and that means giving us all candy, like we're going to his house for Christmas. And Marv, I'm just going to say that I'm going to come and visit you. I know where you live because I got to find your house a couple times during this tenure. And I just want to wish you well and good health. And we're gonna miss you. Well, I'm gonna miss you, but I'm gonna be gone too. So I'm going to Commissioner Leonetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Marv, a real pleasure and honor to have an opportunity to have served with you. You know, you brought it out before I had a chance, and others did too, that I just wanted to thank you for 50 years of service. I mean, you've dedicated a lot of your life to this county, and this county is way better off for it. I'm gonna really miss you. I've always enjoyed, seeing and hearing the stories about your granddaughter's basketball achievements. And we always had a good laugh before a meeting started. Always shook hands and have a little laugh or a little rib on something. And it was a real pleasure. I'm glad that out of your 50 years of service, I got to spend 4 years of them helping you and working with you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Marv.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown.
Commissioner Sauger and his commissioners should know that at one time you were a better golfer than I was. And you always took me under your wing and gave me some of your advice that you learned through your years at the Sheriff's Department and things prior, and I always looked up to you. You're a fine man. You look after the interests of my community where I grew up down in Warren, looking after my own home community, and you've done a good job with that. You've also taken care of a personal prize fish. I have one possession that I own that's most special to me, and that's this old radio cabinet that my grandparents brought over from the old country from Belgium. And Marv restored it, and it needed some work, and he made it look brand new, and that's going to stay in my family for several more generations after I'm gone. And every time I look at that, I think of you, Marv, and the good work, the craftsmanship, and the time and care you took to do that for me. Not wanting anything in return, just to do it out of the kindness of your heart. And I always remember that. And we'll stay in touch, and you're not far away. And but I have a great deal of respect for you, as you know, and wish you continued many years of retirement. And I'll see you around. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Commissioner Hall.
Well, Marvin, as you know, we've been friends for many, many, many years, going way back to the softball days. What some of the other commissioners may not know is I have a large contingency of my family that still lives in Centerline. And they knew Marv even before I did, if that was possible. And I have golfed with Marvin. I've never seen a guy his age hit the ball as far as he does. And sometimes he would embarrass me out there, which was quite an issue. Dear friend, you know I will miss you. We've had numerous conversations long before I ever became a county commissioner, and I will forever have you in my heart. You're in my prayers, and you know you and I will hook up whenever we can. So God bless, Tom. Bye. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Hall. Commissioner Duche.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Marv, our districts butted up together. We've been friends for a very, very long time. You're the only person that you could get away with calling me Audrey, but that's another story for another day and another bottle. I wish you the very best and going forward. I will miss our getting together even at the shop, and you on the phone and the computer, and me in the next room on the phone and the computer. But it's really been a pleasure. I've learned a lot from you, and it really has been a lot of fun working with you. God bless, stay safe, and take care.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Romano.
Thanks, Chair. I have to thank Marvin because I got to give you a real short story. We were playing cards with friends of ours once a month, and Marvin and I were playing cards. And when my district commission seat came open, Marv said to me, "Why don't you run?" So I really gave it an odd thought, and I thought, well, what the heck? Why not? And he kept prodding me, and I finally did. But so you commissioners that are left, I don't know if you should thank him or yell at him, but here I am again. I'm going into my third term. But Marv, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be talking now, and I wouldn't have you as good a friend as I think that I do have. I appreciate everything you've done for me, Marv. I really do. You're a good friend, and I hope it'll continue throughout our lives. God bless. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Romano. Marv, I know you already spoke once, but if you would like, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I've said about all I can say, but I forgot one thing about my good friend Andre. Remember what he should have on his plaque is the notice to adjourn.
We will never forget who adjourned.
But I enjoyed with each and every one of you. I wish you the best luck and health. I wish the new board the best of luck, and I'll support everything they do and you guys do, and I'll never forget you. God bless you and thank you.
Thanks, Marv. We had a motion and support. Please vote.
Chair Smith, Commissioner Lucido added her name at the last minute.
Oh, Commissioner Lucido, go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention, Marv, I totally appreciate you calling and checking on me and always being so kind and thoughtful. You're an awesome guy, and keep in touch.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. Please vote, Commissioners.
That motion passes 11-0.
Thank you, Commissioners. Brock 17E, commending Rob Myjack. Proclamation. Got a motion, please.
Motion by Leonetti.
Yep, I have that one. Support?
Support from Kraft.
Support from Mr. Kraft. Well, Mr. Myjack, I'm not going to read any of the proclamation. You've been a dedicated representative of the city of Sterling Heights for 12 terms. Your focus has always been on passing a balanced budget, protecting county jobs, and ensuring that Macomb County's economy is thriving. You know, you work to understand the needs of your constituent, and you try to help them in every way possible. You fought many battles on their behalf. Rob, you come up with things, and you stick to them, and you're very educated. You know, I know you have a degree, I'm pretty sure, in economics, and it showed many times on our commission. And the board's going to miss you. You served as chair of several committees. You've been a member of several regional boards where you've always had Macomb County's interest, first. You've always advocated for ethical reform, and that's been something that's I know you're proud of. And you made it back to the board before, and we're sure we're not too sure that we're not going to see you again. So, Rob, I'm going to miss you, but we'll talk. Oops, I went the wrong way, so I hope I didn't get out of the meeting. I'm going to see who's up. I have, one second. Commissioner Leonetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, I got a couple stories that are sort of similar to what Commissioner Romano said and Commissioner Haw. First of all, I've known Commissioner Myjack for 46 years, and we met when we were 4 years old, and I think we got in a fight. I think he beat me up, if I remember correctly. But nonetheless, it's been a friendship for a long time. When you watch shows like Stranger Things or The Goonies, it kind of reminds me of my childhood with Commissioner Myjack. A lot of bicycle riding, a lot of softball games, a lot of exploring through woods, a lot of different things. When Myjack first ran in, I believe, 92 or 94, he told me he was going to run for this position, and I jumped on board and helped him out. It was thrilling. It was fun, and he won. And he'd been on there for about 24 years before there was an opportunity where he said, Rob, you should take a stab at it. So just like Commissioner Sauger had told Joe Romano to run, Commissioner Myjack asked me to run in 2016. So I threw my hat in, and it was a great opportunity to serve with you, Commissioner Myjack. You're a good friend. We'll constantly see each other after this, and it's kind of fun to have come in with you, helping you, and it's kind of fun for us to both leave at the same time too. So a lot to say and a lot of good things, my good friend. I really want to thank you for the opportunity to convince me to run for this position, and for the opportunity and the experience to meet all these fine folks in the last 4 years and have this experience in my life. So without you, Rob, I wouldn't have had it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Leonetti. Commissioner Kraft.
Thank you, Chair Rob. It's been an honor to know you for the last 4 years and an honor to be able to call you my friend. We couldn't be further apart on some issues, but when it came to the budget, it was like we had the same mind, and I really appreciate your knowledge and wisdom and being able to bounce ideas off of you and learning from all of your experience here on the board. I'm really going to miss you, Rob, and best of luck to you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Kraft. Commissioner Brown.
Robert, you always had an inquisitive mind. You're always curious about things, and you always ask a lot of good questions, and you always enjoyed talking with you about conversations outside of our board subjects, and oftentimes during the meeting. And you and I sat next to each other for a long time on the board, and your experience will be missed, but you've got to, anything you do, I know you're going to be successful at, because you're sharp and educated guy, and you're always wanting to learn and do better, and you'll be missed. You're a great guy, and I look forward to continuing the relationship as we go forward, and good luck to you, my friend. Take care.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Commissioner Myjack, the floor is yours.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate the comments. I'm going to miss all you guys, too. It's been a long, I actually ran for office. That was, it's hard to remember. It's been so long ago. 3 days after my final exam, Michigan State University, they were looking for someone to run in the commissioner seat. I wasn't married at the time, didn't have a job, was fresh out of college. And, why would you not do that, And so I had a lot of time on my hand there and a lot of door knocking and campaigning. I didn't really have any money, no name identification back then. So I sort of had to start right at the bottom, and I've always tried to work hard for the residents I represented over the years. I've met a lot of people over the years, a lot of commissioners also, both residents and commissioners that have passed on. And that's been a hard thing for me. When you go out and look on our wall in the lobby, there's a lot of people there that I served with that are now gone, including poor Sal Rocca, So it's been an honor and privilege to work with all of them who are no longer here anymore, because I did learn a lot from them as much as learning a lot from you. There have been a lot of challenges over the years, in county government, and a lot of successes as well. The big thing all you folks have to think about right now is the COVID. That should be the whole big issue there, and how to make sure that all the residents get immunized. I won't be here, but I'm sure you guys, hopefully the county will have a plan, the health department, and working with all the partners to make that happen. And thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Robert. We have a motion and support. Please vote.
Chair Smith, I think you left me.
Did you jump in late? Sorry about that, guys. Usually I check
It's
right.
It's usually Johnny come lately. I'm Joe come lately.
Come on, Joe, come lately.
Thank you, Chair. Robert, listen, it's been nice working with you. but why give up at this particular point? You said to me when we talked, you know what, I've had enough. I think I'm just going to relax now. Sterling Heights could use all your experience. It's a 4-year term. It's next year. I wish you would really, really consider running. And if you do, I'll be more than happy to help you, Rob. That's all I got. God bless you. Have a nice holiday. Thanks, Chair.
All right, let me double check.
Thank you very much, Joe. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Joe. Commissioners, please vote. All right, while Mike's tallying these votes, I forgot Marv's daughter was on the line, and she had actually requested to speak, and I'm going to let her jump in real quick before we go to the next next item for Commissioner Lucido. So, Stacy, are you out there?
I am.
Oh, hi.
Hi. So I was going to surprise my dad on a different computer, but I wanted him to be able to see you guys tonight, so we're sharing it. So I just wanted to say that for as long as I can remember, and to this day, when I tell people that Marv Sauger is my dad, everyone has a story or kind thing to say about him. They talk about how he is a legend in Centerline, Warren, and Macomb County, one of the few true good men in politics. Everywhere we go, someone knows him. I don't know of any man that has sacrificed more for his family, his friends, and Macomb County. Dad, you are unofficially retiring after 50-plus years of service to this county. I don't think it gets any more legendary than that. It's now time to devote your time to you. Use all the golf balls you possibly can. Let the phone go to voicemail every now and again. Take the trips and pat yourself on the back for a job well done. Sorry. On behalf of the Sauger family, I would like to thank you, Board of Commissioners, and the support staff for being one of the many reasons he has always loved this job. I also want to thank you, Dad, for being so devoted to not only our family, but to Macomb County for almost your entire life. You are probably the toughest act to follow in all of the roles you have played. We all love you and are honored to call you Papa and Dad. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks. Sorry I missed you the first time.
That's
all right.
okay.
So we have item 17F, proclamation commending Elizabeth Lucido. Can I get a motion for that?
Motion by Romano.
Support.
Support by
I have a bunch of supports, but I have a motion in support, Romano and Duge. So, Commissioner Lucido, Elizabeth, she joined the board in 2017 and immediately showed her commitment to public service by serving as vice chair and chair of the Health and Human Services Committee, and most importantly, Sergeant at Arms. She willingly took on the Sergeant at Arms position that people run away from, and nobody in the 10 years that I've been here has done it with such class and such tact, and we appreciate that, Elizabeth. She worked to support the expansion of early education programs and advanced skills training at the state level, also while working for better roads at the local level. Elizabeth's a teacher by day, and she has a passion for improving the lives of others, and she's certainly done so in District 9. So, Commissioner Lucido, again, I'd say we're going to miss you, but we're going to be out together, so maybe we'll all go on Leonetti's boat, and then we won't miss everybody. We'll just miss all the commissioners that are still there. But congratulations, and I hope your retirement from the commission treats you well. So I have Commissioner Romano up first.
Thank you, Chair. Liz. We've been through some trying times together, you and I, through some difficult times for both you and I. And I'm going to miss you. You sat right next to me. We had a lot of conversation. I enjoyed teasing you. You're a lot of fun. You know how much I wish you well in your family, and I wish you success in whatever you decide to do and happiness in your future. So, Liz, I love you. God bless you. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Duge.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Liz, if I'm not mistaken, I was there at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking out probably with you now. You've done a terrific job. There's nobody that could even closely compare to what you've done as Sergeant of Arms. Times were tough, but you've pulled through it, and it really has been a pleasure serving with you. I wish you all the best and all the luck in the future. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Oh, thank you, Commissioner Leonetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Liz,
Bob, I'd like to say something.
I'll put you on, Marv.
Gotcha. Liz, we've known each other a long time. I think we even went out to dinner in Windsor one time at Spago's and had a good time. Me, you, my wife. And, there was no doubt that it was nice sitting next to you. And I know there was some trying times you had. But you know what, Liz? I will say this. You're an exceptional mother. There's no doubt about that. Should be very proud of that and the choices you made. And we'll keep in touch. And I've missed you the last couple of months, and I'm gonna miss you, but we'll do our best to keep in touch. Okay. Take care. Thank you.
Right. Commissioner Haw.
Thank you, Chair. Liz, being a teacher, you've been a teacher to all of us. You handling the Sergeant of Arms, getting the flower donations, the candy donations, whatever donation was ever required. Your compassion and handling of those issues just identified the type of person that you are. And I'm going to miss our little private conversations, non-work related, thank God, down in the garage, because there were so many common issues. And I used to carry some of your stories back to a person, you know who I'm talking about. And you would carry some of yours. So God bless you. Just stay on the high road. You're going to end up winning. Whatever it is you want to do, you'll end up winning. So Happy New Year. Be safe, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hawk. Commissioner Sauger, you were asked to speak before Commissioner Brown got on, so go ahead.
Yeah, just a few words, Elizabeth. I remember your fundraiser downtown Mount Clemens. I met your family, and you can be proud of them, and I've known you ever since. And I love that smile, and I'll never forget it on that board. And good luck to you, and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Commissioner Leonetti, did you already go on this? And I'm going a little crazy. Commissioner Leonetti.
You know what? I already spoke. I don't mind speaking some more about Liz, but
your name popped back up. It confused me for a minute. Sorry about that. Commissioner Brown.
Thank you. Liz, you're a great, compassionate person, and being the Sergeant of Arms, unfortunately, you had to chase me around probably more than most. So I appreciate the mercy you've shown on me when you finally caught me looking for some money. But no, you're very your kindness and your thoughtfulness and your thoughtful consideration of issues was always impressive. And you're a kind soul, and I'm grateful to have you around because I needed your help a lot, and you were there for me. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Commissioner Kleinfeld.
Okay, I'm really going to embarrass you. And Kathy Toko's never going to forgive me for this one either. But I had surgery right before she came on. And it was in an area in which I wouldn't generally show everybody. And I was in the hallway with Commissioner Toko, and I wanted to show her what I was experiencing. And Liz walked up, and we just she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt." And I said, "Oh, that's okay. Come on in." Do you remember that, Liz? Yes. So when I showed Commissioner Toko what I was going through, I could see Liz's face grinning. She didn't know what she was walking into. That's the best memory I have. That was so funny, and we laughed so hard. And the rest of y'all are embarrassed. Thank you, Chair.
I got to know you real well, real quick.
Thanks, Elizabeth. You're next, but there's a couple people that don't have their phone muted. I can see Marv. Marv, will you mute your phone, your computer or your phone, please? And then Elizabeth, the floor is yours.
Okay. Sorry, lost you here. Hold on. Are you there? Okay. Oh, well, you guys know I'm probably the least political politician out there. I may not have known all of the proper ways to go about things, but you taught me a lot and really helped me come a long way in doing what I felt was important. I'm going to miss all of you, and you've impacted my life in so many ways and through some tough times. And I just really appreciate you guys being there for me, and I love ya, and I will keep in touch, promise. So everybody take care and have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioners, we have a motion and support. Please vote. Caught Mike sleeping. Or slow internet at night. There we go. Thanks, Mike. I'm going to assume all these pass 100%, so we're going to go on to need a motion for Commissioner Leonetti commending a proclamation 17G.
Moved by Kleinfeld.
Support, Hall.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner Leonetti, our resident veteran attorney on the board, has represented Harrison Township and St. Clair Shores for the last 4 years. Being a boater, you've always pushed for clean and safe waterways, and those issues you've always worked hard on. As a lawyer, you came in with extensive knowledge of the criminal justice system, and your work on the Public Safety Committee showed that. All the times at the Sheriff Department and the jail and all the stuff that came in, you had a good handle on everything that was going on. The experience that the board's going to lose having you leave is almost irreplaceable. I'm not going to miss you, but everybody else might miss you. So now you can spend more time on your boat, and I'm sure I'll be running into you quite often. So, Commissioners, let's see. Commissioner Kraft.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Rob, you've been an awesome friend. We came in at the same time, and you've worked with me on a lot of the water issues. We've been able to work together trying to get that water monitoring system together. Took a road trip up to Marysville to check out a water treatment plant, something I never thought I would do in my life, but you and I were there for that field trip. And, as Candace Miller always says, water's not a Democrat or a Republican. You being a Democrat, me a Republican, and we've been able to work on those issues this entire time. And I feel like I'm losing an ally on the board in that fight, but I'm going to miss you, and I know I can turn to you when I need some help, and I'm glad you don't charge me $250 an hour for our friendship. Rob, take it easy. I'm going to miss you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Kraft. Commissioner Romano.
Thanks, Chair. Rob, I have to say, first of all, I really enjoyed the boat ride. That was the last time that I was on Lake St. Clair. And for me to say that, it's unbelievable because I'm a hardy fisherman, and every year I used to have a boat and finally just gave it up. But I truly enjoyed the ride, and I enjoyed the generosity by you doing that. But I have to say this, Mr. Leonetti, you are probably the most nonpartisan elected official that I've ever met. You cross party lines to do what is best for the residents time and time again, and hopefully they appreciated that because I know I did. I've gone with you and you've gone with me, and it's worked out best, not for just you and I, but for the residents of Macomb County, and it just lays tribute to who you truly are. I appreciated you, and I wish you so well. I know we'll be talking because we do have business together, and I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Stay safe, you and your family. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Hall.
Thank you, Chair. Rob, I wish I had known you charged $250 an hour because those lengthy phone conversations we had, I'd have been charging you back. Your legal advice, your friendship will be valued for many, forever. We used to have Shapka's opinion, then Webster's opinion, then we always had Rob's legal opinion. So somewhere in the middle, we tried to build a coalition to get things done, and you were always very open-minded. I really appreciated all the talk we had, even during the election cycle. You're not one that's going to get off of my speed dial list in a big hurry. So God bless you. And I never did get invited to go on the boat, so I'm looking forward to that. You take care of it, friend. God bless. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Hall. Commissioner Duce.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to touch bases, Rob. It's been a lot of fun. Different, yes. You brought a point of view to the board that was novel, unique, and sometimes out of this world, but it was always relevant. After everything is said and done, I know I'm going to run into you one way or another out on the water, and we shall take it from there. But it's been a pleasure serving with you. I wish you good luck and good fortune in the future. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Duce. Commissioner Brown.
Commissioner Leonetti, thank you for serving with us. I mean, I suspect that your time on the Board of Commissioners probably cost you money than given the fact that you take time away from your driving practice. But your expertise you brought to the board was very helpful to us all, and your willingness to step in into difficult issues and try to find a compromise and work through the hard parts was noticeable by all of us, and we appreciated it. And I suspect we're not political aspirations yet, and call on me when you are, and we'll see what we can do to help. But you're a good man, and I'm glad to have gotten to know you and look forward to the continued relationship going forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Commissioner Myjack.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, Rob, it's been a pleasure to serve with you the last couple of years. I'm sorry we both didn't make it, but a lot of times things are unfortunately out of your control. You have a business to run. I have a business to run. You'll do well. You know, me and Rob grew up in the same neighborhood, had a great childhood that was second to none. Baseball, or bikes, comics, books, movies, video games, and Rob actually moved to East Point from Sterling High School. We always kept in touch as he went to high school in East Point, and nothing was ever handed to Rob. He had to work hard pretty much for basically everything he has in his life. He had to work to pay for his school, for his undergrad, and for his law degree at Wayne State. Opened up the business right here downtown Mount Clemens and became a really successful lawyer, well respected in the community, and a good business owner. And the biggest success of his life is actually his marriage to his beautiful wife, Amy, and his lovely 14-year-old daughter, Veronica. Rob is a great husband to Amy and more importantly, a great father to his daughter. And they're a wonderful family, and that's the most important thing in life right there. And so, Rob, again, it's a pleasure to serve with such an honest public servant like you. You always ask great questions. And I always feel, you know, I know your goal someday you would like to be a judge, and I think, you know, that will happen. Sometimes it doesn't happen as soon as you wish, but I think they'll happen for you someday. And we'll talk to you soon, Rob. Thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Kleinfeld.
Thank you. There are so many people on tonight that I just want to set the record straight. I made a joke earlier before the meeting about the amount of money he charges, which was completely made up, and it was just a joke. And it's taken on a new life, so I just want to apologize for that, Rob, and then just set the record straight. And I've known both, I met Commissioner Myjack and Commissioner Leonetti while dropping literature for Mickey Switalski when he was running for state rep. So that kind of gives you an idea how long ago. Gonna miss walking in the parades with you, friend. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Kleinfeld. Rob, I'm going to give you the floor in a second, but I just want to tell you, I am really going to miss working with you on the board. I will say that, yeah, Commissioner Brown hit it. I mean, your talent for kind of going, you know, to both sides of the fence, both sides of the aisle, and working with everybody. it actually, you trying to make everybody happy and trying to give everybody what they wanted is probably the hardest thing you had to do. And it's the mark of a true good politician. You always try to find a good central ground for everybody. And sometimes it bits you, but you learn from that, and you did one heck of a job. And I'll tell you, I'm just happy to have had you as chair, certainly on the committee dealing with the jail during my term as chair. So Rob, the floor is yours.
Well, I got some tissue here, but no, I really appreciate the comments, and it was a real pleasure working with all of you. Just an absolute honor, and 4 years of my life that I'm so grateful I had the opportunity to have. And all of you are wonderful people. I've already made comments on the folks that are leaving, and I'll make some brief comments on the ones that are staying. Veronica, I said you have good eyes. So keep those eyes up and keep asking the tough questions and doing what you have to do. Loved walking in the parades with you, and we'll keep in touch. You're down there in East Point, my old hunting grounds, and so I'll call upon you when I'm down there. Joe, what can I say? We did it the Italian way. I always love having an Italian on my left or on my right, and we had a lot of fun and a lot of laughs, and I've always appreciated the trust that you had in me with business, and I'm going to miss you tremendously. Keep in touch. You know what I mean? You're a great public servant, Joe. You get it. You compromise too, and that's always what makes people happy and makes things work. Don, you know what? Like I was telling you earlier, good things come to those who wait. You've been on this board a long time. I knew of you, I heard of you, and it was a real honor to have an opportunity to work with you with all the experience you had. And I'm very grateful for that. And your North End perspective is very important, Don. I've got relatives up in the Thumb, and so I hear their perspectives too. And it's nice to have that on the board. It's very important. Macomb County is not always, it's not about the lower half. It's in a lot of ways about the rural half too. And you'll be an excellent continued member of the board. And I look forward to hearing stuff about you in the papers. Phil, everything you said is true. I'm going to really miss you a lot of fun. It was a pleasure coming in with you. I enjoyed our trip to that water intake system, and I loved working with you. You've got the right attitude. I'll rib you. You're a little bit younger than me, but your mind is right there. And, young folks like you, I hate saying that because you're not that young, but your energy and your enthusiasm for public service is tremendous. And keep that up, Phil. It's a really good thing. Harold, what can I say? Another seasoned politician. Loved talking to you. Loved bouncing ideas off you. I'll really miss that too. Loved your calls during the elections. You knew I was in some tough elections, and it was always good to hear from you. It was always reassuring to hear what you had to say, and when I told you what I was doing, that you said, hey, you're doing a good job, and I'll miss that a lot, and I'm really glad too I had an opportunity to meet and work with you too. And so thank you guys and ladies, appreciate it very much. It was a real honor to serve, and I'll be around, so keep up the good work. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Rob. We had a motion to support. Please vote.
That motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Item 17H. Oh, that's interesting. I guess I'll call for a motion to commend myself. That's kind of weird. That a motion for 17H.
I'll make it easy for you. I'll make a motion to move for a proclamation commending Bob Smith for serving as Macomb County Commissioner Chair.
Support from Kraft.
Thank you. I don't have any notes for myself, so I'm going to just say a few things. First of all, and then I'll let anybody speak that would like to speak.
Hey, Bob, why don't you let me talk first, if you don't mind?
No, go ahead, Rob.
Then you can say whatever you want. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
We'll just give a little comments on you. We're saving the best for last, You know how that goes,
There's someone next?
Listen, a little comments on Bob that we all know. Bob has a tremendously long record of public service as well. He served on this board for the last 10 years, and for the last 4 years as obviously chair. But before his service on the commission, he had 25 years as a Clinton Township Fire Department personnel. And so you got 35 years of public service with you too, Bob. I mean, that's about 15 shy of Marv. So you should be very proud of that. And you've done a tremendous job for Macomb County and your community. Now, when you became chair, I was on the board as well. I first got on the board when you were chair, and I think I personally enjoyed having you as chair. I thought you were an excellent chair and an excellent person. I'll get to that in a second. But, as chair, you help secure the powers of this board by improving our budget process, increasing our citizen engagement opportunities, and consistently working to maintain the system of checks and balances that the county government requires. Some of your recent accomplishments as chair include uniting a politically diverse board through your cooperative nature and understanding so that all 13 members of this board were here to best serve the citizens of Macomb County. You established the Older Adult Advisory Committee to ensure that senior citizens are represented in the county's decision-making processes. You increased the number of representatives on the Veteran Affairs Committee. You spearheaded policies that will better ensure the county's long-term financial health, such as the fund balance policy and stronger oversight out of capital improvement projects. And you seamlessly guided this board through many transitions with the COVID pandemic that was forced upon us all, including these remote meetings. And we also had some other dealings too. We had, some situation with the county clerk and some other matters that you handled, with exceptional integrity, Bob, exceptional integrity. It's a full-time job being chair, but it's more than that. And, when you're not doing your work for Macomb County, you're found coaching your two boys and you volunteer at St. Mary's Catholic School. And you know what? You run your own law practice as well. And it's been fun to run into you in the courts too. And I'm looking forward to that more often. The board is losing a knowledgeable voice with your departure, Bob. There's no doubt about it. And you have a good voice too. My mom always says you should be in radio. You have an excellent radio voice, by the way. But we'll be losing that voice. And this board cannot thank you enough for your service in the last 4 years as chair. You did a tremendous job. And I'll just quickly start by saying it's been a real honor and pleasure to work with you, Bob. I really enjoyed getting an opportunity to meet you. I knew your brother for many years, but I never had a chance to really meet you. And, it was really neat to see another part of the family and to see you. And you're just an excellent person. I cannot say this enough about Bob. Bob has absolute good integrity, and Bob has the right demeanor and the personality to have been the chair here. Bob is the type of person that doesn't hold a grudge. He's reasonable. He'll work with you. If you disagree, he might be mad for 1 second if he even gets mad. But later on that day, you can go out and have a beer with him and have a few laughs. And he's just a good all-around person, exceptional family man. And just a tremendous joy to know and to have worked with. And like I said, 35 years of public service, Bob. You're not done yet. You got plenty of work as a lawyer you can do now too. But congratulate yourself and my best to your family. It's a real pleasure to know you.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for reading every word I wrote. Thank you. Just kidding. Commissioner Brown. Commissioner Brown, I have you on the list.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
There you go.
You shepherded this board through some rough times during your tenure. You did it with class, and you're always a friend to me, and always had open door policy and willing to discuss ideas. And although we sometimes didn't disagree on most things, but you were there to listen and be a friend. And I really enjoyed getting to know you. Your background before you got on the board served you well, and now you're an attorney and you're going to be successful in what you do going forward. But I've appreciated getting to know you, and I'm going to stay in touch with you because I need to learn more from you as you've shown me things this past 4 years, and I need to be a little bit more like you. So I'm going to try to remember you going forward, and I appreciate you, and I wish you and your family the best of success going forward. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hogg.
Thank you, Chairman. To follow the myth that Veronica's already established, I hope you don't charge $250 an hour like that other guy in being an attorney. In all seriousness, being a former mayor, I knew what it was like to try to keep 7 on the same page and keep things moving forward. To try and keep 13, it just doubled the effort. So, Bob, to you and your family, God bless you. I wish you the best in all your endeavors, and I'm sure we'll see you in the future. So take care.
I'm sure of that. Thank you, Harold. Commissioner Lucido.
Bob, it's been a pleasure working with you. You made me laugh. You were there for all of us in so many instances, and I don't think people realize how tough things got at times. You had a really tough position, and you did it wonderfully, and I'm proud of you, and I'm glad to call you my friend.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Good luck.
Thank you. Commissioner Amato.
Thank you, Chair. You know, it took me almost probably 6 months to finally get used to your dry sense of humor, and you do have a dry sense of humor. But I appreciated it after that time. And I have to say this in respect to you, Mr. Smith, you were always accessible. Even though I'd served a long time on the council, the commission was new to me, and I had questions, and you never failed to give me the time to explain it in detail to me. And I mean that. I certainly appreciated it. You're going to do well, Bob. You're the type of individual that people will gravitate to because you are a good guy. I wish you well. I wish your family well. You have a Merry Christmas and a very healthy New Year. Thanks for being my chair, and thanks for being a friend.
Thank you, Commissioner Romano. All right, there's no other speakers, and so I'm just going to say a few things. I know it's been a long meeting. It's going to stay that way for a while. I'll say the first, I'm disappointed to end this like this, with this virtual meeting like this. We have a lot of fun together, all of us on the board. And you're right, Rob, I don't get mad at people for very long. I might not like your opinion at that moment, but I think Leon Drollet said it best. He's never worked with the board, a better board than this board. And that has to do with everybody on this board and their personalities. No one held grudges. Everybody had a great sense of humor. And I'll tell you, that's what I'm going to miss the most is just listening to everybody and their different backgrounds, their different ideas, learning some things from everybody. And I'm telling you that I'm sorry to be leaving, but I'm not going to be gone. You guys will all probably be hearing from me more than you'd like to. And I'll say for all of us that might have lost an election or not run for an election, I lost the different election that I ran for, but I always like that saying, and I think it was a song that something to do with, thank God that God didn't give me what I asked for. And I think that's what we'll find is that moving forward, better things await for those of us that are leaving and great things await for those who are staying. So I appreciate all of you and all the support I've got from all of you. I know you're going to keep doing great things and keep the board relevant in the future, and I'm going to miss all of you. So thank you very much. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll have to have some kind of going away party when all of this pandemic settles down.
Bob, I'd like to say something.
Go ahead, Marv.
Yeah, I just want to remember your dad, who I worked with, or partnered with your dad. He's a great man. He's a good ball player. And your mother, Stella, she was a first-class person. She raised a lot of nice boys. And good luck to you guys. I'll never forget the Smith family. God bless you.
Well, thank you, Marv. Appreciate that. So we had a motion in support. Can we please vote? Hey, Mark,
that motion,
would you mind
11-0.
Thank you, Mike. New business. Any commissioners with new business?
Mr. Chair, I just have some new business, real brief.
Go ahead.
It would be remiss that I think all of us who are leaving, some of us didn't, some of us may not have, but we really need to thank our staff. Patty, Adriana, Courtney, Mike, Crystal, you guys girls all made us look great. I mean, there's no doubt about that. We wouldn't have been able to do a lot of the stuff we did remotely. Even when we were there with the court civic view stuff, you guys were excellent at it. And so really want to thank you for making the experience positive. So thank you, staff.
And Rob, thank you for bringing that up. I'm just looking at all my notes, and man, that's the one thing I left out is that, you know, you're only as good as the people you put around you. And I will tell you, you know, I already talked about how good the board was being around me, but you're right. The staff of our board, and the next chair is going to realize that the staff of our board is the hub of our operation, and they're so good at everything they do. And thank you for reminding me. I don't know how I feel bad for even not saying it in my last speech, but thank you for all of you. And you guys do fantastic work, and I'm going to miss you guys because I would see you more than anybody. So thanks, Rob, for bringing that up. Any other commissioners with new business?
Yes, Chair, very quickly. Okay. First of all, there's been some, as with last time, there's been some frustration expressed with members of the audience with all of the goodbyes. I just wanted to say a couple things. In 20 years of serving on boards, councils, and commissions, I have never, ever served on one where they didn't say goodbye to the outgoing ones. It's just by coincidence that this happened to take place on a night where there was a lot of people wishing to speak at the hearing of the public. Andre, I wrote that poem in 5 minutes. So I get a break on that. Tomorrow, Judge Toko, who was Commissioner Toko, will be swearing me in. So I'm very happy that she's doing that since I had the opportunity to work with her. And this is for Lawcraft, Brown, and Romano. Don't get any Kleinfeld ideas with respect to Sergeant at Arms. I'm putting my foot down and letting you guys know right here and right now. Don't even go there. And to the rest of you, Merry Christmas. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Hawk.
Thank you, Chair. This solemn time when we're saying goodbye to a lot of friends, I'd like to present some good news. The Retirement Board met this morning. The Healthcare Board met this afternoon, and the Intermediate Board met this afternoon. So Don and I have spent a lot of time on Zoom meetings. The good news is during this pandemic, our fund has increased 10.1%. We are now in excess of $1.125 billion again. And nobody would have guessed back in March and April that that was ever going to be achievable during this time. So I just wanted to give some good news to the board members. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Harold. And one last note, I think the legislature voted on virtual meetings being okay until right now, I think the end of March. And without any specific reason, they're waiting on the governor to sign it, I believe. So just so you guys know moving forward. Get the number right. Item 19, public participation. So I'm going to give a little explanation of what we're doing in public participation. The chair has discretion to limit or restrict comments that are repetitive and redundant. So I will just tell you this. Last time we were very lenient and we let people say the same thing for about 3 hours. That will not happen tonight. If you would like to say something, you guys can say something new. You can say, I agree with the previous caller, but if you start repeating the previous caller and repeating the previous caller, we're going to limit your time and we're going to move on to the next public participant. So that being said, I know I believe I have Mark Delden up as the first member of the public for public participation. So Mr. Delden, are you there?
Yeah, thank you, Chair Smith, and I hope you can hear me. I've been having, this is my fourth Zoom meeting today, and I've been having connectivity issues since early this morning at our retirement board meeting. I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity, one of your last meetings of the year, to thank the outgoing Board of Commissioners, Andre, Marv, Rob Myjack, Rob Leonetti, Elizabeth, and Bob Smith, the chairman. And I'm giving you my thanks on behalf of the county executive for the work that you do. The jobs that you do, I know well, are thankless in so many ways. And in many ways, the community doesn't really know what you do. I mean, county government is somewhat obscure. And, you know, for most residents in our communities that live in the homes, it's very simple for them. You know, they want the garbage picked up and the streets plowed and the police and the fire and the ambulance to come when they're called. And they want, of course, they want the street lights on. But the work that each of you do is really very important. I didn't know what county commissioners did until I came to the county 10 years ago after having spent many years in education. But I want to thank each of you, and I know I'm limited. Lucky for you, I'm limited to only 4 or 5 minutes. But I want to thank each of you individually and collectively for the contribution that you have given. I think in the last 10 years, the county has come a long way under this new form of government, and the new form of government is what brought myself to the county. The other people that I want to thank, because I think it's really important, because we work with them almost every day, is your board office staff. Patty and Crystal and Michael and Adriana and Courtney. I hope I'm not leaving anybody out, but we rely on them in our office, in the Office of County Executive. We rely on them every single day to help us through issues, to help us through civic clerk, maybe tech issues, or to perhaps fast track items to your table. So I just want to thank each of you. I know that we don't always agree all the time, nor should we. That's what a democracy is. That's the check and balance that the people in this county wanted to have. But it's okay. But like so many of you said tonight, you know, we can agree to disagree, and the next day it's like nothing ever happened. So I want to thank each of you, not only the outgoing, but I want to thank those that are remaining for the work that you do each and every day. It's never easy, but it's for a good cause. And what I respect is the fact that you do it for all the right reasons. So with that, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all of you and your loved ones. Thank you.
Thank you. I think, I'm not sure if Patty's on the line, but I did get a list, at least Mark, and I think Mr. Zubas, I think, would be next.
And yes, Chair, I am here. Michael Zubitz is next.
All right.
I'm just getting up and standing up. I like to stand while I'm speaking. Sorry. Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
No, 5 minutes. Please give us your name and city you live in, and we can go from there.
Of course. My name is Michael Dubas Jr. from the city of Mount Clemens, Michigan. And I'm going to start now. Good evening to the esteemed Commission of Macomb County and the chairman as well. First, I appreciate the time change, as having public meetings after work hours allows more citizens to participate in having their say. And the more the citizens are involved with the government, the better. Now, on to my main subject, which unfortunately must be Dana Nessel's recent comments and conduct and comments. First, we must discuss the recent events, which also, unfortunately, the media has purposely not covered correctly. They have since one of Joe Biden's first bribery campaign fundraiser events was also held by the CEO of Comcast, who owns NBC, which has MSNBC under its umbrella. So why does NBC like Joe Biden so much? Follow the money. But I digress. I have heavy suspicions in the recent election, and the actions of the winning parties afterwards have me even more concerned than the events that took place in the TCF Center and other places around America. Detroit is the city everyone outside of the state identifies with more often than not. Other activities has caused my suspicions that I had in 2016 and 2018 to rise up once again. I call it the Debbie Wasserman Schultz strategy. You see, the goal is to have people in place in the elections office that hold your elections that are friendly, like how Brendan Snipes was to DWS. So, or to at least get enough people that are friendly to have mistakes and errors happen that always seem to go in one person's favor, but not the other, making it no longer an error or a mistake. This is not about voters committing fraud, but electoral fraud committed by elected appointed officials when the people who work for them. Take Janice Winfrey, for instance. There have been issues in Detroit's elections for a long time. The office has been held by her for a long time as well. So the excuses are running thin. Also, it's not about her being black, as Dana wanted to imply. Janice is a registered Democrat, helping other Democratic candidates. This isn't a race issue. This is a partisanship issue. She also had major issues in 2016, also related to absentee ballots. So big that Jill Stein managed to find wild inaccuracies to the point where the recount had to be canceled. And on the point of recounts, they are useless. Why? We don't count the ballots anymore. The machines count the ballots by scanning an image of the ballot and then counts the image. And a JPEG is a lot easier to edit than a physical ballot. Also, the same people doing the first count are doing the second count. And this leads to the same issue. So finding people outside of the Secretary of State, Department Clerk's office to do the recounts and/slash audits makes much more sense to me. And since you're not recounting the ballot images that were counted on election night, you don't know since you're counting the wrong thing. The root problem is that we updated our elections process to the 21st century, but did not update the recount system. So I propose this. No more recounts. Just do a forensic audit in December by default after every major election. Then it's automated. It's normal to double check the ballot counts. And there's a concrete process, unlike the present certification process, which is just rubber stamping it and saying it's 100% accurate. And also being forced to pay out of pocket for recounts makes it difficult for anybody that's not a billionaire to get one. Also, clerks' offices should be nonpartisan in the future, similar to judges. But the problem isn't just Jill Stein getting screwed by these damn machines. Bernie got screwed twice, as well as Tim Knoble, who ran against Debbie Wasserman Schultz in 2016 and 2018, Sherry Honcola in 2017, and Charles Booker in the recent primary in Kentucky. Oh, and did I mention Bernie getting screwed twice? Not just by the machines, but by having random poll closures just days before multiple primaries in Bernie favored districts. The Iowa debacle. I mean, they counted delegates by coin flip. And of course, the apparent collusion by the Democrats weekend before Super Tuesday with everyone but Elizabeth Warren dropping out. The only difference between Trump and Bernie, Trump has the footballs to call out what Bernie did not. So I disagree that these elections are secure. People have been saying that. They have not been for years, like a DEFCON voting village, for instance. The issues keep coming back, like the absentee ballot count in Detroit being an issue year after year. So it cannot be human error if there's a pattern. And the patterns are there. The certification board of Wayne County found the most discrepancies in the absentees back in August, so much so that the state provided extra help for the general, but then we found the same issues related to the absentee ballots and mail-in ballots. So why would there still be issues with the state's help unless there's an intention to commit those errors? Why? The orange man was just that bad. So bad that it seems more logical to not target for
Michael, you're down to 15 seconds. Sorry, Michael.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to try and finish this up then. I'll go down to the bottom here. If Joe Biden is inaugurated and the screw job is complete, then we'll have one more thing to say. And it was more like a thing I heard in the movie. Natalie Portman said it in Star Wars Episode 3 with an ad lib I added. So this is how democracy dies, with thunderous applause. Thank you for letting me voice my concerns about her and others. Have a Merry Christmas and a New Year as well. Be safe, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Patty, who's next?
Chair, next is Lily Hanson.
Thank you. Lily, you have 5 minutes. Please give us the name and location or city in which you live.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
My name is Lily, and I'm from Macomb Township.
Thank you. Lily, you have 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, fantastic. So I just want to discuss us that happened in Macomb County on October 24th. But before that, I just want to say that trying to deny commenters from speaking just because they agree with previous speakers or talk about the same thing that previous speakers talked about is an attempt to silence the people and not have to listen to what everyone talks about. In your own words, this is a public meeting, so it would make sense that you have to listen to all of the public, especially considering that we just listen to all of you guys say all your weird goodbyes. And if you get tired of hearing the people that you work for talk about racism in your township, it's because you're so steeped in your white privilege and power that you don't even care about the brutality that's happening to people who are, again, in your own township. And I just want to let you know that we see you and Macomb County as synonymous with racism, in part because you refuse to listen to us. Last meeting, you refused to respond back to commenters, even though we asked you to respond. And since then, us have sent emails asking for a response. So I really hope that this time you decide to do the right thing and respond to us. So back to October 24th. So that day, we had a protest for Black Lives. And as you know, we were attacked by the police. And I just want to talk a little bit about what I witnessed. Which was a police officer grabbing a detained Black man with his hands handcuffed behind his back, put their hands around his neck, then shove his face into the ground before kneeling on his back, just because he was in the road, which is our right as American citizens. This action is clearly violent, and still you refuse to condemn this brutality, which shows me clearly that you are all violent and racist by association. Because, I mean, if you can talk about Christmas and say your goodbyes to everyone for 2 hours, then you can definitely talk about brutality and racism. But before I end, I just want to say to all of my fellow public commenters that last meeting, they told us all that they don't have the power to drop the charges against the Shelby Five or fire Shalide. But I just want you all to be aware that this is a racist lie meant to silence you and obscure their power to enforce human rights. This board has oversight over the interim prosecutor via the Records and Public Safety Committee. And if they try to tell you that they don't have power, they're again lying and trying to silence you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Chair, the next
Patty, who's
is Kyle Thibodeau.
Say Kyle.
Kyle Thibodeau, yes.
Thank you. Kyle, you there? You have to push *6 to unmute.
Can you guys hear me?
You can. Kyle, name and city that you live in, and you have 5
Kyle
minutes.
Thibodeau. I am from Livonia, Michigan, which is in Wayne County. I would like to open up with a quote. This quote is from Chief Robert Shalide of Shelby Township Police Department. Why savages? I wish to God I would have been there. Body bags for these vicious subhumans. Oh, and another note, I dare you to try and drag me out of my vehicle. Shelby, the city of Shelby is obviously Macomb County. Do you want this man to be your police chief? Like, honestly, do you want this man to be your police chief? Well, he said that he's sorry, that he's totally not racist, and that he deserves a second chance. Well, he spoiled his second chance, as the previous commentator noted, that on October 24th, police officers from multiple different agencies, including state police, Oakland County Police, and police from Macomb County, both sheriff and SWAT, used riot shields, aggressive force, for basically absolutely no reason other than to disrupt and stop peaceful protesting. In addition to this harassment, people who were at jail support later that night were also met with riot cops just because they were sitting there waiting for people to get out. How is this okay? And the fact that you guys are saying that you have no power to call this out is, to me, insulting. Do your jobs. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Patty, who's next?
Chair, next is Shaquala Johnson.
All right. Shaquala, are you there? Hello, are you there? Shaquala, you're there. I see you, but press *6 to unmute.
Yeah, just give her a minute. She'll be there. All right.
Not sure who's talking, but if you're not her, please
Hi, how
mute.
you doing today?
There you are. Thank you. Please give us your name, the city
No,
you
this
live in.
is this is me. No, this is me.
Okay. Yeah, I hear
Hello?
you. I hear you. I hear. We hear you. Can you hear us?
It's pronounced Shaquella, and Miss
Yeah.
Johnson. It'll be Miss
Okay.
Johnson to y'all. So, Bob, you turned off your camera. You turned off your camera when the lady was talking and saying that y'all had to listen to everybody else, and you were smirking as if her talking about what happened in the protest was a joke. Just how you are, just like how you are now.
Ms. Johnson, you have 5 minutes, and you have to give us your name and at least the location, the city that you live in.
I'm Shaquella Johnson. I'm from Macomb. I'm from Macomb.
All right.
Okay.
Now you have 5 minutes.
Okay. Bob, you're smiling in the camera. When Lily is talking about protesters, you're smiling like it's funny. And for y'all to say that we all can't talk about the same thing, y'all could have easily said y'all goodbyes for 2.5 hours afterwards. We sat here and we waited on y'all peacefully, patiently. Y'all are going to listen to what we have to say. This board will be held accountable for the racism tactics that are being practiced. Now, when the protest, the Black Lives Matter went out there, they were attacked on the sidewalk. They wasn't even in the street. And what I notice about these meetings is every time a meeting come on, Bob, you turn your camera off. I can't see you. I know you're not drinking or even worse, doing drugs. Every time a meeting starts, y'all want to turn y'all cameras off. Don't nobody want to hear what we got to say. But y'all didn't care about y'all police officers coming down there kidnapping and beating innocent protesters. There were children with that group. When Detroit Will Breathe went out there, they had children with them. And y'all did not care. Y'all still end up beating these people. Please refrain from personal attacks. Well, it wouldn't even be a problem if our people wasn't attacked personally. Bob is turning off his camera. Don't text nothing that's slick inside that text and think I'm not going to respond to it. Now, like I'm saying, at the end of the day, we are here for the Shelby Five. The Shelby Five have been charged with felonies. Protesting doesn't even amount to a misdemeanor, let alone a felony. The jail support was kidnapped. Again, kidnapped. The jail support was real life kidnapped when they went to go pick people up from jail. Y'all don't even have the common courtesies to look us in our faces and listen to us and see what we got to say. Because y'all don't care, clearly. It's clear that y'all don't care. That's why all y'all cameras are off. When everybody had to say goodbye for 2.5 hours, everybody's camera was on. Oh, Merry Christmas, everybody's camera was on. As far as I know, y'all could be doing drugs and drinking. But no, let me get back to what I'm saying. Bob, you turned your camera on because you're the most guilty of them all. Lily put you on blast. When to call her Miss Lily, when she called, she put you on blast for y'all trying to censor this call. This is for everybody. If I say this and somebody repeat exactly what I said word for word, it's not redundant, it's facts. If y'all don't want facts preached to y'all and y'all tired of all these calls, y'all need to shut down the racism in y'all community. But you won't, because you're racist and the community is racist, and that's why the police is racist. A racist police cannot serve a community that is not racist, that just do not go hand in hand. Because that community will stand up and say, hey, you will not treat our black and brown citizens and communities like this. But no, as long as y'all got the right to come down there and beat and kidnap people, literally kidnap people, everything is okay. But don't make no personal attacks. And don't tell me my time is up because I started at 9:30. My time is up at 9:35. So don't even try to get on here and tell me my time is up. And Bob is steady smirking. This is the blatantly disrespectfulness I've been talking about. See, the funny part is Bob smiling. But I'm going to be the one with a real surprise as soon as my time is up. Remember, I said that. Now, back to the Shelby Five. They have the right to practice democracy.
Your time is up. When you threatened on the line, your time is up. So, Penny, would you please mute her? We'll go with who's next.
Anthony C. is next, Board Chair.
Thank you. Anthony, please give us your name. And
Tell me, how did I threaten you?
Anthony, you're up.
No, actually, before Anthony goes, could you answer her question?
See, I won't be silent. Tell me how I threaten you. If I threaten you, tell me how.
For real, Bob. Speak
Tell
up.
me how I threaten you, right? Because I didn't.
Yeah, and
I didn't threaten
I'll wait
nobody
for
at all.
Shakwala. You should answer Shakwala's question.
Not one.
Okay, this is not a back and forth in public participation. So if you would like to speak, the next speaker is up. This is my meeting. You might not like it, but this is it. There's no back and forth in public participation. So next speaker, you're up.
That was Anthony C., Chair.
Thank you. Anthony, you're up.
Can you hear me?
I can. Anthony, city you live in, and your name. Well, we got your name.
Yeah, I'm from Macomb County. So, Shakwala, I respect you. I'm only speaking because this is my turn. Hey, so, yeah, I understand you're going to cut people off if people say the same thing. So I'm going to go with the poem tonight because I'm pretty sure no one after me is going to do a poem, so you should hear the people after me. Here we go. October 25th, a day to remember. In Shelby Township, racists would enter wearing badges with batons and shields. These pigs descended on a peaceful field. You see, there were people marching for justice that day, demanding accountability for what a police chief would say. Vile racist remarks and violent threats don't stay. It's time in Michigan and America for a new day. The peaceful people were met in the street. The chants of Black Lives Matter rang out to a dope beat. The pigs were mad and started to grab. They threw and pushed and jabbed, arresting people for no reason at all. It was unjust.
Mr. Chairman, this is insulting.
To witness protesters fall. So we come to you and ask of you to do what is right and needed too. Prosecutors need to be stopped. Charges need to be dropped. Do your job. That is all. I'm out.
Betty, who's next?
Chair, next is Allison.
Allison, you there?
Hello?
Hello. Allison, your name and your city you live in, please, and you have 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah, my name's Allison. I'm from Macomb Township. So I didn't expect to be called on so soon. I know there was a number of people that had already spoke up before me. Okay, so I am an organizer with SHIFT. SHIFT is one of the main organizations that held the October 24th March in Shelby Township. We had been there since June, since Robert Shalide was caught with his secret Twitter account, okay? And if anything has become clear over the last 7 months of protesting there and of dealing with number of board members from your commission and also Shelby Township who want to support police brutality and racism in Macomb County, what's become clear is that racism is alive and thriving here in Macomb County. We all must tackle it. We all must thoroughly address it and where it resides in us, in all of us, and we must thoroughly work to end it. In Shelby Township, we have been harassed and attacked by police. We have been harassed and threatened by white supremacist militia members, Boogaloo Boys, and Proud Boys. We have been harassed and attacked, physically attacked, by Trump supporters. No arrests against these individuals were made. However, when we arrived on October 24th, to express our First Amendment right to non-violently march in the road, which if you go to the ACLU website, we are legally allowed to march in a public road as long as we do not stop and completely stop traffic, which we did not do. Shelby Township's police officers told our group to look at the ACLU website to know our rights. When asked what laws are we breaking, they couldn't answer that. They said they got infuriated with us for asking too many questions and told us to go to the ACLU website to look at our rights. Well, guess what we did? We looked at our rights, and our rights tell us that we are allowed to march in the road if we are not completely obstructing traffic. I look at this board tonight, and a couple of things are clear. All we see here are white people running Macomb County. Many of you are older. Many of you were born while segregation was officially legal in the United States. It was law, it was policy, and it was official practice. How do you think Macomb County was formed and shaped throughout the years? It formed with many of the same racist housing codes and home loan lending practices and neighborhood associations that enabled segregation to thrive in the city of Detroit for over 100 years. White people fled the city. That was systemic racism and a socially racist practice. You are governing a place that was literally formed through racism. And is it any surprise that we have police attacking anti-racist and black protesters who have come to address a chief of police who has called for protesters to be killed, that he would like to kill them? So you need to drop the charges. You need to call on these charges to be dropped. You need to call for a racist, bigoted, violent police chief to resign or be removed. For you to sit back, that feeling inside of you when you're thinking in your head, I'm not going to do anything. That's called racism. That is called authoritarianism. That is governmental malfeasance. Your government is supposed to protect all people. Okay, and then finally, in Shelby Township, guess what? They are trying to censor us there. They are turning off their cameras. They do not want to hear us. They have changed the setting of their meeting to a webinar instead of how it was, where we could see how many participants were in the call, et cetera, et cetera. So now they can censor us. They can block us. We had 4 callers who were not allowed to speak on the last meeting. And they have had people come into these meetings in support, quote unquote, of what the police did. And guess what their only reasons of support were? Fear, inconvenience, and annoyance at the protesters.
Allison, you have 1 minute.
Guess what? Fear, annoyance, and inconvenience, that is not grounds for police brutality. That's called white privilege. When you have fear of someone marching down the street because you've been watching too much Breitbart News and too much Fox News, when you are inconvenienced, right? Because, oh my God, people are out there saying we need to change something for something that you never had to deal with in your entire life, right? And annoyance. I'm sorry, but annoyance has nothing to do with our Constitution. You do not hurt individuals and destroy their constitutional rights because you are annoyed.
Allison, you have just about 5 seconds.
So please step up, do something, address your own racism, address what has happened here. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
Chair Sammy Lewis is next with Anthony Cox on deck.
Hello, my name is Sammy Lewis. I live in Detroit.
Thank you. You have 5 minutes, Ms. Lewis.
I am an organizer with Detroit Will Breathe. I think the way you did Shakwala is wrong and racist. You're just painting the angry black woman narrative. I'm a black woman as well, and I'm going to make a point to say that if you dare cut me off because my comment is too redundant for you, you're clearly just another racist board promoting oppression. I will take all of my time until I am finished or I've reached 5 minutes, which, by the way, I'm timing myself. If it's too redundant for you, good. Then maybe it'll sink in since one time isn't enough. The people have waited 3 hours to get to public comment. Not only is it disrespectful and dismissive to ban similar comments, but it's suppression. Just by that, it's clear where you stand already. Yet here I am calling in again tonight to once again ask you to take a stand against Chief Shalide of Shelby Township, his racist remarks, and to use the positions you're in to visibly and clearly oppose the charges against the Shelby Five and to demand that all charges are dropped. While there should be a clear separation between church and state, I know this board consists of people who are pretty religious. So I would like to quote Isaiah 1:17. Learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed. You are now in a position where you can do these things. Do right, seek justice, and defend the oppressed. Please take a stand. Fire Shalide and drop the charges against the Shelby Five. On October 24th, we were simply exercising our right to assemble and right to peaceful protests in which the police departments, including K-9 units, SWAT, and riot police of Macomb, Shelby, Utica, Sterling Heights, Oakland, Stony Creek, and Michigan State violently and unlawfully made arrests and violated our First Amendment rights. My questions here are who signed off on this clearly racist attack? How much money did it take to fund this operation? And how much force were these agencies and militias allowed to use on nonviolent protesters? My next question is why do you lack accountability? You say you don't have the power to do these things, but you do have the power to take a stand, to publicly take a stand, and you're dismissive in that. Our questions go unanswered, and if they're answered, it's not a very clear answer at all. To be nationally known as a racist county is actually an embarrassment. You should take pride in where you live, but by showing support for a racist police chief and department shows where you stand. Also, by dismissing Shaqualla Johnson, Miss Johnson to you, is also very racist in that as well, when you dismiss her because of threats that weren't actually made, but you can't dismiss the police chief of Shelby Township. Shalide is a liability and discredits the police and township officials, including this board. So yeah, I hope everything I said sits with you, especially Isaiah 1:17. Again, learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Chair
Next. Yeah.
Cox is next with Kid Hustle 15 on deck.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Patty, who'd you say was next?
That was Anthony Cox
Anthony, are you
Kid
available?
Hustle 15 on deck.
Anthony, you there? Anthony, push *6 if you're there. Otherwise, you can come back on later if you're having some trouble. Patty, give us the next name.
Kid Hustle 15 is all I have.
Okay. Well, whoever's under that name, if you're there, please give us your name and city you live in.
Chair, the next person is Bethany Ellis.
Bethany, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Give us your name and the city you live in, please.
My name is Bethany Ellis, and I live in Washington Township, which
Thank you.
is
You got
part
5
of
minutes.
Macomb. I'd like to, it's not what I originally had planned to say, but I want to make sure that the speakers after me don't get their chance ruined by me saying something that would make theirs more redundant. So I'll speak from personal experience. I was there on the 24th. I've been at almost every single one of the Shelby Township protests since I'm a lifelong resident of Macomb County. And I used to think it was a really great place to live since, I spent my whole life there. Like, that's where all my friends lived. It's where my parents live. It's all I ever knew. And then with all the, police violence and the protests sparking up over this last year, really opened my eyes. But it's like, that would never happen where I live. Like, what is wrong with these cops? Then we start protesting in Shelby after the chief said these awful things. And it's like, they'll get rid of him in a heartbeat. Like, I've worked in Shelby Township for years of my life. And I've never seen anything like that. I definitely see it now since there's big racist, counter protests every time we go. But I on the 24th, we showed up for a peaceful protest, as we've been doing for months at that point. And before we even all assembled, there was a militia group in our spot. So we had to reassemble elsewhere. And I see Bob turned his camera off again. we had to reassemble somewhere else, which kind of made us a little flustered to begin with. Then we show up and there's all these like cops, like there might have been even more cops than protesters, and there was a lot of us for Shelby Township anyways. And they were in like riot gear, and I didn't understand why the cops in my town were in riot gear. But then I understood pretty quickly because they made it pretty clear. They were there to do what Chief Schlide had talked about on Twitter. The second we even considered stepping into the street for our march that would have blocked maybe semi-blocked traffic for all of 2 minutes, when they blocked traffic for at least 30, 40 minutes to beat and arrest us. I got shoved by a riot shield immediately, and I was like, what the hell? I was like horrified. It was appalling. I've never witnessed, let alone experienced, police brutality before that. Like, it doesn't happen where I live, but it did. It happened to me. It happened to those around me. And right after I got shoved, the girl next to me, who the only difference between me and her, we're the same height, we're about probably around the same weight, and we're both standing there peacefully protesting, only she has darker skin than me. She gets shoved 10 times harder by the same cop. If she wouldn't have got flung into me, so I did a makeshift catch, she would have cracked her head open and joined the at least two people that the cops there sent to the hospital that day. When we've never had anyone had to go to the hospital before, like, then the cops show up to keep us safe, they said. And that happened. I protested all over the state of Michigan, and the cops always show up to stop us from getting hit by cars. I was really skeptical of all the cops everywhere because I'm from, Macomb County, where the cops don't give you a chance. So then I realized that the Lansing cops, for instance, they show up behind you with their flashers on to make sure no one runs us down. We could be protesting the most obsolete thing with 3-4 people, and they would still come and keep us safe. And instead, the Shelby PD, Macomb Sheriff, all just Sterling Heights PD, all show up in riot gear to beat down the citizens. So, my personal tax dollars went to the cops shoving me with a riot shield. That was only one of 3 times the cops in Macomb County assaulted me that day. And then they charged 5 of us with felonies.
Bethany, you have 30 seconds.
I don't know if assault on an officer meant the guy with the concussion hurt their body with his head while his head was under the 180-pound, 200-pound man. But he had to go to the hospital because of the concussion. So, who assaulted who? So the Shelby Township PD doesn't seem interested in dropping the charges, and I'm sure they'll assault people again. So you need to step up and get the charges dropped, at least on those 5 people with horrible felony assaults.
Bethany, your time is up. Thank you.
Chair Jordan Weber is next. That's Jordan Weber with Jeffrey Nolish on deck.
Jordan, are you there?
Can you hear me?
If you're Jordan, I can.
It's Miss Weber, please. Thank you.
Okay, Jordan, you have 5 minutes. Your city that you live in?
Yeah, I live in Warren, which I hope you know is in Macomb County. I would like to start off by saying that I am a Black woman, just in case you want to try and cut me off a little bit early. So I would just like to, again, say Robert Shalott is a racist. I repeat, Robert Shalott is a racist, straight up and down and all around. There's no debate about it. I'm a professional in the automotive industry, and at least we are required to take multiple code of conduct and ethics trainings regularly. If we have to take these trainings regularly, then there's absolutely no way that one day of sensitivity training will have any type of impact on a racist who wears a badge which you clearly believe represents impunity and gets to brandish a lethal weapon. This behavior would not be acceptable for a teacher or for healthcare professionals. And this kind of punishment would not be appropriate in corporate America. So it should not be appropriate for public servants. mind you, who serve the public. It is very telling that there are so many people denouncing the police chief of Shelby Township and his actions and the actions of Shelby PD and really the actions of all the police department, the surrounding police departments. And it's disrespectful that these 5 felony charges are against nonviolent protesters. What's disrespectful is threatening those who are demanding equity for Black and brown lives so we won't need to live in fear. Because regardless of who was protesting, they were protesting for Black and brown lives and to express their discontent for the injustices inflicted upon Black and brown lives. We were met with police officers from several different cities, SWAT, and K-9 units. Every one of you are disappointing and pathetic excuses for humans. You are all cowards who hide behind your fake shield of whiteness, turning off your cameras during these public meetings. And I have not forgotten our lady, Miss Tammy, who threatened to hit us with her car because she thinks protesters in the street are speed bumps. That is a premeditated threat of murder, vehicular manslaughter. If you don't support violence, then denounce that woman and work to drop the charges against the Shelby 5. And let me tell you something. It's a privilege to not know what it means to have to fight for your rights and march in the street. You will not silence the people because the power of the people is stronger than the people in power. And how dare you try to silence us and suppress our right to speak to public servants who serve us? You think this is the first time I've been trying to be silenced? You think I'm just going to let you do that? Let me tell you, I'm an angry Black woman, and you better think again if you think I'm going to let that happen. You are all afraid of the collective power we have, and you are all afraid of the power of Black women as the backbone of the fight for human rights. And that's why you try to silence us. You think I'm afraid of you and your weak attempts to silence us? Y'all want law and order? You're afraid of what can happen when we rise up. And you know what? Welcome to my world, because I live in fear every day as a Black woman in America. You don't know the fear I know. You do not. And I know a coward when I see one. Y'all are all cowards. And you're not the big bad men you falsely believe you are. We will hold you accountable. We ain't gonna let up. Whole squad here, we fed up. Y'all have to fight to drop the charges against Shelby 5 and fire the racist police chief Shalad. I'm done.
Chair Jeffrey Nolish is next with Lillian Ellis on deck.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can. Please give us your name and your city you live in.
Yes, my name is Jeffrey Nolish. I live in Detroit, Michigan. This has been a long meeting, right? I witnessed and watched and heard so much celebration earlier tonight, and I know so many people have given their livelihoods to improve Macomb County in ways that I'll never realize. But I'm here tonight, like so many of my friends before me, to comment on what happened in Macomb County on October 24th when we walked out of a parking lot into a street to protest racism and oppression in your county. And the reason it's so important to speak about this topic is that I saw people I care about, people I love, people I know, mistreated, brutalized, hospitalized. A woman that I'm friends with was taken out of a squad car with very little clothing on and paraded in front of over 130 people. None of this was acceptable. None of it was appropriate. None of it should have happened, and it will not happen again. What I'm calling to ask is for the charges to be dropped. And I understand that if you as a non-prosecutorial body don't have the power to do that, but each and every one of you has the power to hear us, has the power to listen to us, has the power to write an opinion editorial to your local paper and say, you know what, many people are upset by what our police force did, and we heard it, and we want to elevate it. Each one of you has a responsibility and obligation to do your best to approve something better. And what I see right now are people that are frustrated on this call, not just frustrated at your body, but I see you're frustrated as commissioners. I understand that you might be fearful. I understand that but that's where brutality is born. That's what gives rise to accepting things that you would not normally accept, or tolerating things you would not normally tolerate, because you're angry, because you're pissed, because you think that we're calling you and telling you untruths. But that's not the case. So I want you to understand, running over demonstrators with cars will not remove racism from Macomb County. Frankly, you can't arrest, Chief Schley can't arrest racism out of Macomb County. You can't cut off person after person on your public comment to reach a non-racist Macomb County. So each of these things matters because, yes, we're calling to change your hearts. We're calling to change your mind. We're calling to change your soul. That's what we're trying to do because we want to be able to belong in your community just as much as you do. And right now, people don't feel that way. People that I love, right? And I swear to God, you would love them too if you just took the time to get to know us, all right? There should be some path forward that we can all celebrate some sort of society in your community. But right now, it's not happening, and we are demanding that you listen and that you open up your minds and hearts and bodies to something better. Please, please, please consider this during this holiday season, during this pandemic, during this climate change crisis, during this recession, and during this racial injustice, this moment of racial injustice, because we are not going to improve as a society if you just say, hey, 5 minutes, good talk, see you out there. It's just not going to get better. So please, please, please listen to my friends. I love them very much. They're angry for a reason. I'm angry for them. Everyone here on this call should be treated with a great deal more respect that has called in. They deserve it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Patty.
Chair Lillian Ellis is next with Kenya Funtress on deck.
Lillian, are you there?
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
Wonderful. I live in Highland Park, Michigan.
Thank you. You have 5 minutes. The floor is yours.
I want to say that you should let Ms. Johnson finish her comments. I wanted to speak today mostly about something different than the others. So I think many people have detailed the pain and violence that they've already experienced at the hands of many police departments within Macomb County. Folks have asked questions that apparently need to be asked again because they have not been answered about the planning and cost of the many police departments that responded that day. What I want to talk about is the violence that is yet to come. So 5 people are facing felony charges, and we are in the midst of a pandemic. These people are facing possible prison time. Already, nearly 100 people in Michigan alone have died in prison this year from COVID. A possible prison time could be a death sentence for these folks. And so, you know, I hope that you all are not surprised by how scared and upset and worried we are for the people that we love who are facing these charges. Felony charges, even, you know, the felony proceedings that these people are being forced to undergo are violent acts. You know, these people are forced to go to court. They can access to a job and housing, and certainly being put out in the cold in the middle of the pandemic is violence. The good news is that y'all have to do something about it to prevent this violence and suffering. It has not, you know, like it is happening now, and it will if you don't do anything. But you can do something about it. You know, you can make a public statement. You have authority over the prosecutor through the Public Safety Committee. You can right this wrong, you know, and we're scared. We're scared for our friends. Many people feel the harm of police violence and the prison industrial complex. And so we are emotional about this topic, and I think that those emotions make sense, and it's important to have space for that here. And by silencing folks who are experiencing very real fears, you know, you're making it available to many of your constituents. And so I really call to take a deep breath and to think about the fear, sadness, grief, loss that are experiencing, and try to make space for that. These are important things that are important to many of your constituents, and I think are important to yourselves as experiencing your full range of humanity. These are big feelings, and it's the violence that we all have experienced and the violence that is to come is not a simple matter. And so I do hope that you all take that deep breath, maybe later tonight, maybe after you get some good sleep at the end of the comment, and think about the very real fear and grief that we are sharing with you, that you have been blessed with. Ms. Weber and Ms. Johnson sharing with you their fears and their experiences, and to take that to heart in order to move forward and right this wrong and prevent further violence.
Lynn, you have 1 minute.
Because you guys really do have the power to make a difference here. I think that some first steps that might seem less intimidating would be to answer the questions that have been asked. I think these questions about, and to keep your cameras on, and to answer the questions about this attack that was carried out, and what the planning ahead of time, what the cost to taxpayers was. People questions, and people have been asking for these for. And so after you answer these questions,
you have 15 seconds.
Steps to please drop the charges against the Shelby Five. And then to put into place policies and procedures that will prevent violence like this happening again, including firing Shalide. So thank you so much for listening to me today. I really appreciate that you gave me the time and space to share this.
Okay, thank you. Your time is up. Thank you. Patty, next.
Chair Kenya Fentras is next with Peter Tanaka on deck.
Kenya, are you there? All right, Patty, who was next? You can.
Peter Tanaka.
Peter, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Peter. Name and city you live in, please, and you have 5 minutes.
My name is Peter, and I am from Warren. I'm a little in shock that a person as tenured as yourself would try and silence us tonight. I have no idea where the rule is that you can cut people off for repeating their statements. The reason that we are saying a lot of the same things and we keep bringing the same points back to your meetings, to the Shelby Township meetings, is because they are not being addressed, and we are being sent in circles. What took place in Shelby Township on October 24th was appalling. It is reprehensible that we had 10 different groups of police there for nonviolent protesters. The worst part about this was, and the biggest joke of this is, that at the same time, about a mile down the road at the Shelby Township Convention Center, you had a group of civilian militia with semi-automatic weapons convening. Yet the police thought that the biggest threat was the group of protesters walking in the streets. These were people from children to senior citizens who were doing nothing but marching. Many were on the sidewalk, and these people were violently attacked by the police. There has been no answer. We come back to you time and time again, and there has been no investigation into this matter. None of our questions have been answered. No more light has been shed. We need to know why this happened. Who allowed this? Why was this authorized? How much did this cost people? At the same time, we need these charges against the Shelby Five dropped. There's no reason that walking in the streets should result in felonious charges. You have the ability to have influence on this, and that is why we keep coming to you. we sit here and we listen to you compliment each other, and it's enraging. I bet you're wishing right now that you might have saved that and reversed the order of this, because this has really put a bad note for all of these commissioners to leave on. And I just want you to know that we are going to be more, if there are no actions, if there's no recourse taken between now and when the new commissioners come in, this will be a great way for us to give them an orientation on how to treat and respect the people when they do share their viewpoints. And with that, I will give my time to the next speaker. Thank you.
Chair, the next speaker is Jay Bass with Tim Dickerson on deck.
Thank you. Jay, are you there? Hello?
Yo, can you hear me?
Jay, give us your name and your address or your city you live in, please.
Oh, what's up? I'm Jay Bass from Detroit. And honestly, I forgot that I even raised my hand, but I can definitely speak because it should definitely be said that y'all on some straight BS trying to get us to not talk about the same thing. Like everybody said, it's a form of suppression. Because in fact, if everybody's saying the same thing, like Shaquala said, before she was so rudely silenced racistly by Mr. Bob over there, Bob S., who been smirking and smiling the whole time. What up, Bob? You got a nice little entertainment system there, but you still mean and you still suck and you still got racist tendencies, as we see. But if everybody's saying the same thing,
I'll tell you that personal attacks won't be allowed on this.
See, but the thing is, Bob, you guys don't care about the attacks that happen against us.
Do it again and you'll be off, all right?
Your request about personal attacks if you're going to continuously allow personal attacks to be brought upon us. So, it's hard to go. Respect got to go both ways, Bob. So like I was saying, if everybody's saying the same thing, obviously something has to be done because the citizens all voice the same concerns about the negligence of life that is happening in Macomb Township, that's happening in Shelby Township, and you have to do something about it. You all say that you don't have the authority to push change in these cities, when in reality you do have the authority, at least over yourselves, to advocate for the right thing for human lives. And the right thing for human lives, one, to allow them to voice their opinions, to voice dissent, voice anytime they disagree against, who is in power, in this instance, a racist police chief, and the right to not be brutalized for voicing that concern. And you all allow for that to happen, because anytime Black lives or advocates for Black lives try to speak out for Black lives in Shelby Township or Macomb County, they're met with police violence, they're met with police intimidation, and you continuously on these calls defend that and justify that, rather than working with citizens and answering questions and moving in the right direction for liberation for all. And you show continuously that you don't have you don't really want to do that at all. You don't want to move in that direction. You want to silence us. You want to ignore us. You want to not call on us. You want to not allow us to raise our hands. You want to raise the voices of people who are advocating for the police, but try to silence the voices of people who are criticizing the police. And I think that you all need to take a step back, over these holidays when you're chilling with your family and you ain't got to worry about none of this shit right here. Y'all need to chill and actually think about what you can do in 2021 to make things fair, make things even. And what you can do, what you can start to do, is to advocate for dropping the charges of the Shelby 5, figure out whoever you need to go to push that through and get that dropped. And what you can also do is fire this racist police chief who has made the most atrocious, like the most horrible claims against Black lives, calling them subhumans, saying that they deserve to be everything that he tweeted, which I don't understand how we can continuously allow that in America, like we've been doing. So I don't know. It's the same thing. Drop the charges against the Shelby 5. Bob, keep your camera on. Stop going to do drugs, and continuously listen to the citizens and listen to what we have to say, because that is your job. That is what you're supposed to do. You are supposed to serve the citizens. You are supposed to move in a direction that is beneficial to the citizens and not move in a direction that is beneficial for white people. And that's all you've been doing, since I'm sure that you all have your jobs. At the beginning of this call, we got to listen to what a bunch of people did. and how great it is to work with them and how they're about to be retired and everything like that. But I want to say, honestly, I don't give a fuck about those people because they don't care about us, and they have not done anything for us. They have not moved in the direction for us, so fuck their retirement.
Next is Tim Dickerson with June L. on deck.
Did you say Kim?
Sorry, Chair, that was Tim Dickerson.
Oh, Tim. Right.
Yes.
Tim, you there? All right, who is on deck?
June L. I don't have a full last name, just June with last name L.
All right, June, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, you have the floor. Please give us your name and city you live in. You have 5 minutes.
My name's Junie. I'm from Shelby. So I just wanted to point out something. I've been doing a little research on why the population is 90% white and only like 5% black, and then another 5% of other ethnicities. And apparently there is a lot of complaints that go to fair housing in regards to minorities trying to live in Shelby. And a lot of them experience racism, not getting equal opportunities trying to live in Shelby. And I'm just generally curious, have you guys even thought about minorities before this happened? And this is an honest question. Have you ever sat there and thought about the other 10%? Because before this all happened, I don't think you guys really understood what was happening in Shelby. There's tons of people complaining to fair housing that they cannot get into Shelby because it's extremely racist. When I moved here, I'm a black female, by the way. When I moved here, the first thing my landlord said to me is, I cannot guarantee you safety. I can't guarantee you that. It is racist here, and I can't guarantee you protection or safety. And I said, I understand that because my work is a couple minutes away, and I really need to stay here. But if it gets bad, I'm moving. And to be honest, I don't need to march in the street because my skin already says Black Lives Matter. People are going to be racist and continue to be racist. And Robert Shalide, he's clearly racist. And you can't protect a city when you have somebody in office only protecting white people and not thinking about the other minorities. And I honestly don't think you guys have ever thought about the minorities before this, because we waited for 3 hours, and honestly, I haven't been paying attention. I've been kind of zoning in and out, and you had this one female read a poem for whatever the fuck reason, guys saying your goodbyes, talking about how, oh, you'll miss each other, blah, 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 but you're not talking about the people. When are you guys going to start talking about the people, and what are you going to do to protect everybody in Shelby? And this is a genuine question. Are you guys going to answer?
There's no back and forth in public participation, sorry.
Okay, yeah, that's because you don't have an answer. That's because you've never thought about this in the first place. You have never, ever, ever thought about minorities. You probably didn't even think about the housing. You probably didn't think about the protection. I've been reading stories about Robert Shalide. Someone's dad went missing. And you know what Robert Shalide told the female who reported that their dad was missing? I think he's at McDonald's. Nope, he was found dead in a car. By the police? Nope. By some guy jogging in the morning. Robert Shalide does not give a fuck about the people. He never has. He never will. And I'm guessing he's paying you guys on the side. He's probably paying you guys a couple $100 here and there. Oh, thanks for looking out for us. Thanks for not spilling, our secrets, our information, whatever you guys are withholding, because you guys seem scared of Robert Shalide. I don't know if he's rich or something and he's paying you to protect him, but you don't need to protect this man. Fuck him. He can find another job. Fuck him.
All right.
You need to care about the people.
I'll tell you that you're saying everything, but just keep the language, all right? You can say that without saying.
No,
yes,
I'm not going to keep. No. You are a grown adult. You're like 70 years old. I think you can handle a swear word. I think
in a minute if you go on.
I think you can handle a swear word, sir. You are 70. You're 70 years old. You're 70 years old. I think you can handle.
Chair Alex Anest is next with
Thank you.
Adrian Johnson on deck.
All right, Alex. Alex, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, and my name is Alex Anest. I'm known as Lee B when I'm in the streets as a street medic. I was there on the 25th.
Alex, what city do you live in?
I live in Ann Arbor.
Thank you. You have 5 minutes.
And before I go off on you guys well, actually, I'm not going to go off on you guys for your racism. I'm going to acknowledge that I also live in a town that's racist, because we all live in racist places. So I am not coming to you thinking that I'm better than you. I'm just coming to you as a person who lives in America, which is a nation that was built as a white supremacist paradise where we don't have to address our white privilege if we don't want to. And so that means we get to grow up and live our lives without having to face the fact that we all have internalized racism. So yeah, I was there on the 24th. I witnessed the gang violence that you guys call the Shelby Police Department, but really they're just a gang, an armed gang supported by the government that is there to terrorize people. But I'm not going to talk about that. What I want to talk about is your white privilege, my white privilege, and the tone policing that you guys just perpetrated against the previous caller. Let's just talk about this. You guys have a chance to address your own internalized racism here, and you can make a choice to try and make a difference. The first thing you need to do is just understand that all of us have internalized racism, and that means that it can be difficult to spot. It can be hard. You can feel like you are not racist, but that's not the point. You live in a racist society, and you in particular live in a racist town. Okay? You may not think you're racist, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about whether you're going to support institutional racism and attacking people in the street with your gang that you call your police department, silencing Black voices who want to be on this call, not being able to handle the anger that is entirely justified. That is white privilege. So as much as I'm angry and want to just yell at you, instead I want to say, just take some time and think, what can I do in my position of power to move the needle of white supremacy in the right direction, to undermine white power from my position of power? Okay, because that is our job, to undermine this system that is designed to keep anybody who is not white down. That's what this nation was built on. Read the Constitution. Look at our history. This nation was designed so that white people wouldn't have to face up to our own crimes. And that does not make you individually a bad person, though honestly, I think some of you are kind of fucks, but it it means that you still have to face up to it regardless of whether you're a fuck or not.
All right, that's enough. You had 30 seconds, but since you can't,
I don't need it.
There you go. Patty, who's next?
So the last person on the list is Adrian Johnson.
Adrian, you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. You have 5 minutes, Adrian. Give us the city you live in.
Hi, I'm from Detroit.
Thank
I'm
you.
calling about the Chevy 5 also. But with that being said, let me just start. This board is very racist, and this board is very racist and very blatantly disrespectful. Every time I call, you're turning your cameras off, and Bob S., you're turning your camera off because you don't want to hear people, and you're cutting them off. And I'm convinced that you cut Miss Johnson off, Shaqualla Johnson off, because you recognized her voice. And is there a reason why y'all using Google and not Zoom? Because I do not like this. I don't know what is going on, but y'all need to fix it. It's not right. I bet you thought I was white because I was light skinned. No, I'm black. Freedom people, stop it. Now, if it was, that's not right. I'm a nurse. Nah, if I was racist towards white people and not wanting to take care of them, do you think I can still be a nurse? Do you think it? So no one going to answer my question because we always got to keep talking for ourselves. Why? I'm looking for the pathetic man who was on here last time, the chairman. What was his name? I can't even think of it. Y'all need to free them people and cut it out. Y'all police chief is a freaking racist. There's no way around it. And I really want to know how much taxpayers spent on that day. Because I am a taxpayer, and I've been working since I was 8 years old, paying taxes since I was 14. And y'all just wasting money like it ain't no problem. So, I need to free them people. It's not right. You know it's not right. Hopefully over the holiday, which they say your heart should grow 3 times bigger, that y'all do what's right. And another thing I want to know is, when is the public going to be able to come to the meeting? Because I would love to see this disrespect in person. And the drinking, I want to see it all, since it's all acceptable. Stop doing stuff on these calls that's not acceptable, period. Free the Shelby 5, and I'm tired of y'all talking about what y'all tired of, what y'all don't want to hear. Shit, quiet as kept. Sometimes I get tired of looking at white people, but I'll be on this call, and I'll never say anything disrespectful at all. But I have to sit here and be blatantly disrespectful. Disrespected every time I call, and I do mean every time. Go, and I do mean every time. It's not right. Stop disrespecting people. And honestly, if I could, I would organize a protest in front of all your houses. I'm gonna use my whole 5 minutes. Robert Shalee is a racist. For anybody who didn't hear it, let me say it in the back for the people in the back. Robert Shalee is a racist. Take him off. It's not right. You know y'all police officers is racist. I don't even come to Shelby. I don't know why nobody will come to Shelby. You're all racist. 90% white. God damn. It must be like snowflake. Ugh. Nobody want to see that all the time. Stop it. It's not our fault that we was born black and brown. And as far as the Constitution go, that needs to be freaking rewritten. It wasn't written with no black people or no black women. So, oh, there you go, with the camera turned off again. And Bob, I will like to have a reasonable answer is, how did Miss Johnson threaten you to the point that you felt like it was okay for you to cut her off? No response. Can't never get a response. Another question I wanted to know the whole time that I've been coming to these meetings is, who is the new board members? They don't never say nothing. Who are they? Can I know? Hello? Am I talking to myself?
Yes, you are.
Clearly, it seems that way.
We don't respond in public participation. I think I gave the rules. There's no back and forth in public participation.
You just responded.
I had a couple of questions.
I'm not really sure who muted her, but I didn't.
There we go. I'm unmuted. Thank
There
you
you
for
go.
letting me know. Anyway, Robert Shalee is a racist. Frida Shelby 5. And hopefully y'all do what's right. Do what's right. That's all I'm gonna say. Just do
Thank
what's
you.
right.
Patty?
Chair, Adrian was the last one that I had as requesting to speak, but we can go back because Anthony Cox never responded when you called his name. Neither did Kid Hustle 15 nor Kenya Fentress. I'm not sure if they're there.
Any of them on there?
Tim Dickerson didn't say nothing either.
That's Anthony Cox, Chair.
Okay. Anthony?
And Alan Denard.
Kid Hustle 15. Kenya Fentress.
Don't forget Brendan.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry. I see that a couple other names came up. So we have Alan Denard.
Alan, are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can. Alan, give us your name and your city you live in, please. You have 5 minutes.
My name is Alan Denard, and I'm from Detroit.
Floor is yours.
All right, man. Well, first off, I just can't believe y'all really tried to silence us like that. You know, for sharing the same story, it's like, what is that? That's really just trying to silence the people. And of course, y'all try to silence us because we talking about Black Lives Matter, and it's just despicable, you know. But this is all I gotta say. You know, in that little retirement celebration that we all had to listen to, y'all were giving each other all these like great compliments and whatnot, right? But one of the compliments stuck with me the most. Bob, you call one of the commissioners a man of equality. Equality. But I don't know what type of equality you all talking about when y'all continue to pursue these charges on Black Lives Matter protesters for a non-violent protest on October 24th. Police Chief Shalai is a racist, period. And pursuing these charges make y'all racist, straight up. So I don't know how y'all can even utter the word equality when y'all don't even know the definition of it. So drop the charges, fire Shalai. I'm out.
Patty.
Chair, can Kenya unmute? She was attempting to unmute and it wasn't successful. Kenya, you need to hit *6. Kenya Fentress.
Who's next?
Okay, we'll go to Alan Denard.
I just spoke. Y'all gotta do better.
Yep.
Y'all gotta do better.
I'm sorry.
Brendan or something?
I didn't mark you off. Brendan with Johnny K on deck.
Hello.
Brendan, you're up.
All right.
Give us your name and city you live in. You have 5 minutes.
My name is Brendan. I'm from Detroit. And actually, I want to bring it back to something somebody else had said previously. So Alex and/or Lee had mentioned the fact that the police, and to be honest, y'all are kind of like a gang. And here's the thing. Honestly, I think it's a lot worse. At least gangs, like if you look at the history of gangs, they were actually to protect the community. The point of gangs were to actually like build up the community, to actually like get resources, be able to survive without the police. And I think that like, the police are just there to fight the people. At this point, we all know that the police are from slave catchers. We all know that that's like the history of it. We all know that the gangs are actually made to respond to that. So I think it just gets, I don't know. Obviously this is a history that we know, but it's not, at this point with people like y'all in charge, it's really not going to be getting any better. The thing that I want to say is the fact that y'all really came in here and y'all were like, if y'all keep re-saying the same thing, if we keep re-saying the same thing, then y'all are just going to like mute us or like kick us out. Isn't that like the exact opposite of democracy? I'm pretty sure isn't democracy about having everybody's voices heard in a place? So if y'all are like actually like, if y'all agree on all the same thing and all the people seem to have the same idea, We can't have that. We got to actually like divide y'all and kick some of y'all out and not let people talk. That's honestly just sickening, because at that point it shows that y'all knew coming into this meeting, people were going to be all coming here talking about the same thing, about the injustices that are happening against people. And y'all knew that ahead of time. And instead of saying, what are things that we can do to actually like listen to the people, and what are things that we can actually do to like help the people and like bring justice to this, y'all said, what is the best way that we can silence everybody? Which honestly, I don't really understand, because if y'all really want to make us go away, because I know that's what y'all want, whether you say it or not, y'all want us to go away. And the best way to do that is to actually like help bring justice to the situation and not just try to silence everybody that's talking right now. So that's like really what I don't understand. And also bring it back to a similar thing earlier. My job is I work as a therapist. If somebody that I'm working with as a therapist, they get hurt, they hurt themselves, something like that, immediately before anything else is done, I have to go and I have to talk to somebody and I have to see whether or not I did my job. Regardless of the situation, I have to see whether or not I did my job, because I can get this thing called sued for malpractice, something that should really be happening with the police. And the fact that police can just straight up walk out and execute people in the middle of the road, and y'all can't say that they can't, because they do it at least once a day. Fun fact, in 2019, there was only 16 days in the entire year that the police didn't kill somebody. So the fact that they can go out and kill people however they want, and y'all can just be like, yeah, man, oh, what's up, Kenya? Oh, 1 second. The fact that the police can go out, kill whoever they want, and then y'all can be like, well, we looked at ourselves and we don't think we did anything wrong. Or the fact that y'all can rip people out the streets and arrest them, and then not only do the police get to say, well, we investigated ourselves, we did nothing wrong, but then they have the different backbones of white supremacy, such as yourselves, saying, well, we just gonna trust them. We're not really gonna think too deeply about it, and then like try to cover it up by like pushing the buck off, straw heading the argument, basically, like that, straw manning the argument, basically. So also, just to kind of continue rolling on this, y'all also were talking and have talked about it from a few different meetings about the fact that, man, y'all got me so mad I don't forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, the fact that going on right around the corner was a whole white supremacy movement going on. And the fact that they have brought guns, the fact that they have threatened people, they have gone into fights, and they have been out in the streets, and they have gone into the streets on multiple occasions. And the police not only didn't stop them, but the police got in front of us and we were like, why are they in the streets? And we went to go be like, hey, get out of the streets. The police came to confront us about it. So that's obviously wild. And the fact that y'all don't even mention that is crazy. And it really gets me to believe that if our movement just showed up with Trump hats and a bunch of guns, the police would have come out and started congratulating us and shaking our hands, just like they did that murder out in Kenosha. So like, I don't know, man, y'all, like, this is obviously incredibly crazy. I don't know. I also wanted to make sure that my camera was on so y'all can see that I was a white dude, so that way I got my full time, because y'all seem to like cutting black people off really quick. So I just want to make sure, and I appreciate that, because obviously y'all are giving me my entire time. But the fact that like there's absolutely zero accountability here on any level, to the fact that y'all can just straight up just every day be like, well, I guess we have to go listen to the people like bitch about something. We're not going to do anything about it, but they're really going to be bitching about it. And y'all don't even think like, what can we do to make the people happy? What can we do to actually service the people in my community? I get it. We aren't lining your pockets. We aren't going to be giving here, sending y'all money. We're not going to be sitting here like giving y'all a little bit of money to the side or something like that. But dang, don't we ever sit down and be like, all right, cool. Don't y'all ever sit down and be like, man, what can we do to actually service the people of this community? Because on every single one of these calls that we send on, the people of the community have the same exact thing. And y'all not only ignore us, but y'all sat there and ahead of time thought about how you can try to silence us. This is like premeditated silencing. And it's only really seeming to be done and used against the black people in this call, as I've gotten to say whatever the hell I want.
Okay, your time's up.
All right, let Kenya go.
Patty,
Chair, I think Kenya figured it out. Kenya Fentress?
Yeah. Okay.
Kenya, your name and your city you live in?
I stay in Shelby Township. Go.
Give you 5 minutes.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Can you hear me?
Is this Kenya?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, Kenya.
Yes, I'm calling about what happened to the protesters. It was very sad to see so many jurisdictions, so many different districts of police officers ganged up together to violently brutalize these peaceful protesters when they are only asking for rights that you and your whole family were born with. They didn't go out there and loot. They didn't go out there and riot. They didn't even go in the street. They wasn't even given the opportunity to step onto the street. They were brutalized from the sidewalk. And when people tried to come and help them from jail, they were also kidnapped. People who came to help them from jail got kidnapped. They were arrested while coming to pick somebody up from jail. Now, I'm not a lawyer, nor am I a police officer, but 1 + 1 = 2 in every situation. And all I know is that there's no way that walking and peaceful protesting equals up to a felony charge. Not a misdemeanor, but a felony. This board has went out their way today to silence plenty of callers. Many callers were talking in the middle of them talking. They were muted. They are no different than any other races out here. The people on this board are no different than the white supremacist meeting that was going on around the corner. No matter what has been going on, y'all prayed. Y'all said the pledges of allegiance. But when y'all prayed, black people was not included in that prayer. When y'all said the pledges of allegiance, justice and liberty for all did not include the black people. Now, y'all are 90% white people and 10% other people. It's safe to say that your community is racist, and that's why the community supports the police. No one can support the police when they use Jim Crow tactics if they are not a racist themselves. This whole board don't care what nobody has to say the whole time. And out of this whole meeting, y'all want respect. When y'all have blatantly disrespected every single black man and black woman that have called on this call. They have been muted. Y'all told the other lady that she was talking to herself. So even if you can't comment, you were supposed to be listening. She was never supposed to be talking to herself. Out of all people to be talking to, she was never supposed to be talking to herself. The lady called and said she was going to run down these protesters. Nothing has happened. Y'all have not tried to find this lady and file charges on her like y'all would if it was a black person. Black people go to jail for less than nothing. Y'all come up with charges for black people out of thin air. Y'all can come up with charges for black people from scratch, but you can't make a pie from scratch. I bet you my bottom dollar on that. There's no way in the world that these people should be facing felony charges and holding this type of cloud over their head. This can deny them from jobs, housing, and travel. Their livelihoods are at stake, and all you guys know is you want to sit and protect your white privilege. That's not going to fly with us. These are our allies, and these are our people. We would not.
You have 1 minute, Kenya. You just muted yourself. There you go. You're unmuted.
You guys said a prayer. I don't understand what God you're praying to, but we know it's not the same Jesus. And it's probably, of course, the white Jesus that y'all believe you're praying to. But there's no way that you could be praying to the same God that we're praying to. Have a nice night.
Thank you, Patty.
Chair, it's Johnny K.
Hello?
Hello, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, please give us your name and address or your name and city you live in.
Oh, all right. Well, first of all, I'm not going to give you my address. I feel like
Just give us the name and city you live in, please.
Oh, okay. Well, my name is Jonathan, and I live in Lansing. So I'm calling just to for the same reason everyone else is calling tonight, and that's to do with the Shelby 5. They were peacefully protesting in the street, and they were arrested. They have the right to be there under the First Amendment right to assemble and for freedom of speech. So I have no idea why these people were arrested. And it seems like this is just, we keep calling in and trying to talk to you guys about actually doing something about it. Have you guys done anything at all whatsoever to have these charges dropped. I don't think you have. I don't think you've done anything about it. I don't think you've used your political power at all to have these charges dropped. Even if it is on the state level, you still have the ability to make phone calls and write letters, and I'll keep saying this in every meeting, to have these charges dropped. But nobody on the city council is doing anything. Nobody on this board is doing anything about it. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, why can't you make an attempt? Obviously, the people are screaming. They're telling you what they want. Are you not listening to the people of your community? They're telling you over and over again they want these charges dropped. If you're public servants, then do your fucking job. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And you should definitely let Miss Johnson speak again, since apparently she was cut off. You know, obviously this board is racist, not letting black women speak. But yeah. So put yourself in the position of the protesters who were peacefully demonstrating, and imagine, like, you're a protester, you're walking in the street, and you get arrested by the police for what? Walking in the street demonstrating your right? It's absolutely ridiculous. These charges need to be dropped immediately. 2 people ended up going to the hospital. 1 person had a concussion because of the way they were brutalized by the police. And Chief Shalide needs to go. You guys had a 15-hour Zoom meeting about Chief Shalide, and you guys decided to keep him? 15 hours of discussing Chief Shalide, and you decided to keep him? Obviously, he's a racist and a bigot, so I don't understand why you would want to keep him. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Those people had the right to protest on the street. I don't understand why nobody on the council is going to do anything about that. Obviously, you guys need to be replaced. Obviously, the whole board needs to be replaced because you guys aren't doing your jobs. The taxpayers of this township are literally paying for you to sit there and do nothing about it. Like, absolutely nothing about it. It's insane. Like, why aren't you listening to the people? I don't understand that. So, yeah. I just want to see the charges dropped immediately. These felonies can stick with these people for the rest of their life. If they have felony charges, it's going to be incredibly hard to get housing and employment. Like the earlier caller said, they're not going to be able to have a firearm to protect themselves. It's just going to have a multitude of issues for them in the future. So drop the charges already. I mean, how many times do we have to say it? So, yeah. Imagine if it was your kid out there getting brutalized by the police, being sent to the hospital by the police, having a concussion due to the police. What would you do about that? You'd be pissed. You'd be doing the same thing that we're doing. You'd be joining in on Zoom meetings and council meetings and board meetings and trying to voice your opinion about how unjust and unfair this is. Imagine if that was your child. Just think about that for a second. Put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Anyways, hopefully Miss Johnson can speak again.
You have 1 minute.
1 minute? Okay. Well, hopefully you can let Miss Johnson speak again. I mean, if you guys don't want to let a black woman speak, it just shows how racist this board is in the first place. Let her speak again. It would just buy the kids. All right. Anyways, so drop the charges immediately. I want to hear that there's some action being done. I want to hear that there's some action being done. I want to know that you guys are specifically doing something to have these charges dropped, whether it's a phone call or a letter, whatever it is. The next time we have a Zoom meeting, between now and then, I want to hear exactly what you guys have done. So hopefully you guys actually do something positive for the community, besides just sit there and ignore what everyone has to say all the time. Anyways, that's it.
Thank you. Patty?
I don't have any other people on the list, Chair.
I don't have anyone else. I'm closing public participation. Anybody motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn, but I'd like to make a small 4-line sentence before that.
You can hurry up and say it, please.
I will. To everybody here and to everybody coming in, be strong, be of good courage. God bless America, and long live the Republic. I make a motion to adjourn.
All right. Support. Have support.
Support Kleinfeld.
Thank you. Everybody please vote. Thank you. Meeting adjourned. All right. Support. Have support.
Support Kleinfeld.
Thank you. Everybody please vote. Thank you.